It's showtime.
Okay.
Call to order, please. Call to order. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Laramie City Council regular meeting for Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. And if you would like to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Bowling.
Present.
Freed.
Here.
Lockhart.
Here.
Newman.
Here.
O'Doherty. Absent. Shumway.
Here.
Vigil. Here. Richardson. Here. Cumby.
Here.
That's 8 present and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Next, before I start, I just want to, we have many people in attendance and we will be receiving public comment. So just to review that there is a sign-up sheet if you wish to speak. If you're not on this sheet, after those who've signed up, I can take hands. Each member of the public may speak once in any given public comment period. And each comment is limited to 3 minutes. Council shall not debate issues with members of the public, and all remarks should be directed to the chair, me, and the chair may wish to refer any question or matter to appropriate council member or city staff. And for good productive comments may not include threatening or obscene language, personal defamatory statements, or any disorderly conduct that impedes, disrupts, or disturbs the orderly conduct of any meeting, hearing, or other proceeding. Without limiting any other guideline, speakers may not use public comment for political campaigning or commercial advertising. So, thank you. And then later, as the first public comment will be on non-agenda items. And then I know many are here to comment on items 21 and 22, which are related to the stormwater fee. And if we can kind of keep things running smoothly, if you hear the same kind of critique or comment being made, let's try to not keep repeating those, and so we can get the broadest view of what comments and concerns are. And I think that's it. Thank you very much. We appreciate your being here, and we appreciate your engagement. So, without further ado, is there any public comment on non-agenda items? Yes. And if you will state your name for the record. Welcome, Ms. Sendler.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. I got a democracy problem going on here. I've been to a lot of good meetings. I've been down at the depot. I saw almost half of my neighbors to discuss a parking lot. I have been to the old city shops to discuss rebuilding and redoing all the property there, and there was a great turnout. Tonight, this is awesome. They're going to have a meeting next Thursday about Ivinson Avenue at the North Castle. I'll bet anybody in this room $5 I know 2 of the people that are going to be there, of the 3 that are going to show up. Nobody shows up out there. That is not the place to have public meetings. We need to move the meetings from there. Unless we need that huge space, we need to move them into town. The depot, City Hall, soon the public library, the old junior high, Stop having meetings out there related to public works and public things because nobody shows up at the meetings and we don't get public input. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other public comments, non-agenda items? Okay, seeing none, consideration of changes in agenda and setting the agenda. First, is there a public request to remove a consent agenda item and place it on the regular agenda? Online? I see none. Then I move to the Vice Mayor Richardson for changes to the agenda, please.
Great, thank you, Mayor. I move that the following changes to the agenda be approved. Remove items 19 and 20 from the regular agenda and add item 9.0.II to cancel the August 12th, 2025 work session on housing, rental, and rental home incentives.
Second.
I have a motion by Richardson and a second by Shumway. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Vice Mayor, if you can set the agenda, please.
Thank you. I move that the agenda be set as changed.
Second. I have a motion by Richardson and a second by Vigil. City Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Bowling.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty. Absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Vigil.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That motion passes. Next, I return to City Clerk for a public hearing on recommending approval of North 4th Street Urban Renewal Plan.
Thank you, Mayor. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing of the Laramie City Council will be held at 6:30 p.m. on August 5th, 2025, in Council Chambers, Laramie City Hall, 406 Ivinson Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming. The meeting shall be held both online on Zoom and in-person option to take public comments on the following. To consider and approve the North 4th Street Urban Renewal Plan and Project for lots located along 4th Street, generally north of Canby Street and south of Lion Street, identifying and recognizing that this area is located within the urban renewal area and that it includes blighted areas that qualify it for a plan and project, and that if approved, possible funding can be used for public improvements and development within the plan and project area. All applications, plans, and specifications relative to these matters are available for review at the City of Laramie Planning Office at 405 Grand Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming. Anyone wishing to be heard should be present at the council chambers or via Zoom webinar. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Is there any public comment on this public hearing? Yes, sir. Mr. Mattermore. And if you could state your name for the record, thank you.
Tom Mattermore. When this first came out, I've been working on this for about 2.5 years. When this urban renewal first came out, I was vehemently opposed to it, having lived through and seen some of the most grievous mistakes that were made in the 50s, 60s, and 70s on this. I came around because the plan is a good one, and this plan to take the old city yards, that's basically what the North 4th Street project is. Take the old city yards, get a developer in there, and turn them into something usable and beneficial for Laramie. I think this is a great project, a great idea, and I just would like to say I support it fully. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mattermore. Seeing no other requests for comments, City Manager, are there any announcements this evening?
Thank you. Yes, Parks and Recreation, Mayor.
Good evening, Director Bork.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. I just wanted to for all of you that may not have gotten the announcement earlier today, as you're aware, we're getting ready to kick off at the end of this month our pool filter replacement project, which is going to see all 3 of the pools shut down for about 3 weeks while we replace all the sand filters and the UV filters, which will which will remove all the sand from getting into the bottom of the water for anybody that enjoys the pools. But we just sent out an announcement today that while we have the pools shut down and kind of while we're in our shoulder season of transitioning from summer into fall, we are going to be doing a full building shutdown from August 26th to September 1st. That's going to allow us to do some things like full carpet cleaning of the inside of the building and do some painting repairs and some wall repairs, things that we can't really do when the facility has people, we have 500 to 1,000 people on average come through every day in that facility. So it makes it difficult to get some of these larger projects done. So I just wanted you to be aware. We did send out an announcement to all of our members, but we also know that we have a lot of people that visit that aren't necessarily members, so we wanted an opportunity to let you know and let the public know as well. So that'll be August 26th through September 1st that we'll be doing that full facility shutdown.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Bork. Next, councilors, are there any disclosures and/or conflicts of interest?
Thank you.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
I just want to share that I called a council member to let them know that our last agenda item was on the agenda prior to the agenda coming out in order for people to think about whether or not they wanted to make adaptations or think about other agenda items to be added. So just want to share that.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, if you can motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you. I move that the consent agenda be approved and that each specific action on the consent agenda be approved as indicated.
Motion by Richardson, second by Bowling. If you can call the roll, please.
Bowling.
Aye.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty, absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Kehill. Yes. Richardson.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That motion passes. Next, we will move to the regular agenda. Item 11, submission of an airport improvement program. Councilor Lockhart.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that council approve the submission of a grant agreement for FAA's Airport Improvement Grant Project Number 03-56-0017-052-2025 for an aircraft rescue and firefighting ARFF expansion by Laramie Regional Airport in the amount of $1,573,058 and authorize the mayor and city attorney to sign.
Second.
I have a motion by Lockhart, second by Councilor Vigil. Good evening, Ms. Terrell.
Good evening, Mayor Cumby. Thank you for having me. Council members, I'm just here to talk about the ARF building. What that is it's our aircraft firefighting rescue building. We also use it for our snow removal equipment, so we call it the SRE building. In that, we have our fire station is in that building, as well as we store most of our snow removal equipment. What this would provide for us is a third bay. So I came to you earlier this year to discuss the rotary plow that we will be getting at the airport. We're expecting delivery in January of 2026. That rotary plow, it will open up a third bay so that we can keep that in. One of our grant assurances is to ensure that that piece of equipment stays inside. With that bay, we will also have the ability to rinse our equipment with the Hotsy at night. During winter, when we're out removing snow from the runways, quite a bit of that equipment, or that snow freezes on the equipment. So it will give us a place in the evenings. We'll have a night shift now that comes in and takes care of all of that equipment. So in the morning, we are ready to start removing snow again. Our match for this is $41,448. That money has been set aside when we had our COVID and CARES money, our COVID money come in. We set that money aside anticipating this. This is a 5% match. Half of that comes from the state, the other half locally from us. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions, councilors? Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Seeing none, back to councilors for comments. Director Terrell, I just want to say thank you very much to you and your staff for the effort it takes to write a grant like this and to obtain this type of support for our airport. Thank you very much. City Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Bowling.
Yes.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty. Absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Vigil.
Yes.
Richardson.
Aye.
Cumby.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Next, item number 12, guaranteed maximum price amendment. Councilor Vigil.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the Laramie City Council approve the Guaranteed Maximum Price Amendment AIA Document A133-2019, Exhibit A to the A133-2019 Standard Form of Agreement between owner and construction manager as constructor between the City of Laramie and Sampson Construction Company, Inc., in an amount not to exceed $4,895,000 for the Laramie City Hall campus renovation project, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
I have a motion from Vigil, second from Richardson. And who's going to present? Oh,
Good
Thank
morning, or good afternoon, evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Before the Council is a Guaranteed Maximum Price Amendment, A1A document, A133-2019, Exhibit A, establishing the GMP at $4,895,000 pursuant to Section 326 of the previous approved AIA document. This fee includes direct costs to work for both of the buildings and sites, and indirect costs including pre-construction, services, general conditions, FF&E allowance, permit and plan review fees, insurance, bonds, contingency, and CMAR fees. The work to be completed under this amendment includes all 3 floors of the City Hall Annex and the basement of City Hall. Staff and the CMAR believe there will be funds available to address certain portions of the main floor of City Hall. However, those potential items will not be addressed until demolition has completed, providing for more surety with the construction issues.
thank you, Director. Councilors, are there any questions? Councilor Lockhart.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Director. Just a quick question. There's 0% contingency in here. So if there is an overrun, the contractor pays. Am I correct on that?
Through you, Mayor, Councilor Lockhart, because it is a guaranteed maximum price, we will value engineer as needed to achieve that price, and that is the responsibility of the
Fantastic. Thank you.
Further questions? Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Yes, sir. And if you can state your name for the record.
Hello, Mayor and council members. My name is Michael Cisneros, and I appreciate what you guys are trying to do some renovations to these buildings. But my question to you guys is, do we really need to spend a little over $4 million on renovations of these buildings right now when our infrastructure is in such dire need that we're trying to search for ways to be able to pull this money out of the residents of Laramie's fees for their water? And so I guess I'd just ask you guys to ask yourselves, is this an absolute necessity? My concern is when we did the improvements north of town, there was supposed to be a set fee and not to exceed, and we went millions and millions of dollars over what the initial projected cost was. And so, not that it's probably not something that should be done at some point in time, and I get improving things, but that's a lot of money to put out at a certain point in time when the city is in dire need of funds. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. If we could please not have the clapping in the public business meeting. Yes. Who? City manager.
Mayor, if the council would like it, our Public Works Director could certainly address the malicious and wrong rumor that the Municipal Operations Center was over budget. That I keep seeing that out in the public, and it's just absolutely factually untrue. So if you would like, we can address that, or we can leave it as is. Thank you.
Council?
It needs addressed.
Yes, if we could address that, thank you. Director Webb.
Yeah, Mayor, Council, I just let you know that as the project manager on that project, we completed it within budget.
Thank you. Is there any further public comment? Yes, sir? And if you could state your name for the record, thank you.
Arvin Martinez, local business owner. Thanks for the opportunity to talk. I think Mr. Cisneros brought up a very valid point, and a lot like our high school, which I had to disagree that we didn't need the high school that we got. We didn't get what we should have got. But this pyramid of ignorance on North 3rd Street over here that the city built for themselves, I think a lot of people just ask, what was that budget? And I think we need to know what that budget was. That's another, just like this ground surface water thing, that's an item that I don't think you held enough meetings to say, hey, as a community of Laramie, would you like to buy the old Wyotech and make new city buildings? I personally think that we have a lot of other city property. We could have remodeled what we currently had and saved ourselves a lot of money. It don't take a genius to figure out that that cost several $million. And now our fire trucks, our city trucks to be repaired, our cop cars to be repaired, they have to go another extra mile. How much more on fuel does that cost? There's a lot of things that were slid under the rug, much like the surface water thing with this building of this facility at the old Wyotech. And the city manager makes it look like it wasn't a big deal. Well, if I made her kind of money, maybe I wouldn't think it's a big deal either.
Point of order, please, Mayor.
Point of order.
Thank you.
Please don't address directly to direct comments about individuals.
And no personal attacks, please. Further comment on this agenda item? Back to councilors.
Question.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. So I remember we discussed this before. Isn't the money already set aside for this project? We're just guaranteeing a maximum amount of the contract. Is that correct? We're not voting to give the money. That's already been done, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Councilors, further comment? City Clerk, if you can call the vote, please.
Bowling.
Aye.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
No.
O'Doherty. Absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Behill.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Cumbie.
Yes.
That's 7 yeses, 1 no, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That motion passes. Item 13, award of contract for purchase of water meters. Councilor Bowling.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to award the contract for the purchase of 600 water meters for the meter replacement program to Metron Farnier Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $223,200 and authorize the mayor and the city clerk to sign.
Second.
I have a motion from Bowling, second from Newman. Good evening, Director Webb.
Good evening,
Welcome.
Mayor. Our meter replacement and maintenance program started a couple of years ago. What we've been doing is purchasing about 100 meters a month, and then our meter crew goes out and replaces those. The meters we're replacing right now they call them smart meters. They have VN LTE tops on them, and so they read into the cloud and we can pull that information down. The really cool thing is our guys come in the morning and they can get a report from those meters that tells them if there's a high water usage, maybe there's a water break or somebody's left their hose on or something else, and then they can contact the customer and let them know. We currently have about 40% of the cloud meters installed, 60% of the drive-by radio meters. So the old meters, we actually have to drive by them, and that currently takes about 32 hours of staff time each month to go drive by and read every meter. They're read through radio frequency ID, so they don't go into the cloud. We talked with Metron, the meter supplier, and they said that if we order 6 months supply, there would be no shipping charge. Currently, we pay shipping that every month, and so if we can get in a 6-month supply, they'll deliver them for free to us, and then our meter crews will have those on hand to get out and get those changed out. Once the change-out is complete with all the meters and our new utility billing system is in place, the customers will actually be able to log in and see their usage live. So they'll be able to see what's happening, and they can set alerts and notifications if their water goes high, usage is high, and kind of correct that themselves also. So with that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Thank you, Director. Councillor Lockhart? Oh.
Sure. All right, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Director. So I know it's kind of a twofold question. Number one, 40% are installed, so you're going to replace the rest of the 60%? Everything's going to go to the cloud type? And how many meters is that needed?
Yeah, Mayor, through you, that's correct. When we're done with the project, all meters will be smart, what they call smart meters, and we're around 9,500 meters-ish.
Okay.
Thank you. Councillor Newman.
You said that like staff would be alerted if like somebody left their hose on or a water break happened, something to that effect. How many gallons before the alert would be alerted to you guys?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. I actually don't know the answer to that. I know our staff has the ability to go in and set those parameters, and what they have that set at, I don't know. I can get that answer and shoot it over to you tomorrow. But they can go in and set those parameters where they're at. I think it's based on a percentage usage. I'm not 100% sure, but I can get that information for you and shoot it over.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Thanks, Director Webb. I am assuming, and tell me if I'm assuming incorrectly, if the tech goes down, we just go back to the old system. Are you able to read the meters the same way if tech goes down, I guess is my question.
Yeah, Mayor, through you, I think the smart meter system is actually more robust, if you will. There's a lot of times when we drive down the street, we may not pick up a meter, it's not reading right or whatever. When it goes into the cloud, it's in the cloud, and it's through cellular service. So if, let's say, our power's down at our facility, when the power comes back on, we're able to pull that information down, right? So once it leaves the meter and goes to the cloud, we can pull it out of the cloud at a later time if needed.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Further questions? Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Yes, sir. And if you could state your name for the record. Thank you.
How's it going this evening? My name is Bobby Watkins. I'm a local business owner in town. I want to say I have one of these smart meters on my building, and it's not smart. I had to pay an excess of almost, my normal water bill is like $99 for a business that I have downtown. And before it caught it, it let it run almost $1,000, and I still had to eat that bill. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any further comment? Back to council. Any comments? Councilor Freed.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Well, I'm sure Director Webb heard that, but I hope that if we get these new meters put in, that we can make sure we can set those parameters so, leaks are caught faster. But, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Councilor Shumley.
Thank you, Mayor. I anticipate there will be a savings because of this new technology, and I just want to make this comment because we do not make money on the enterprise funds. Any savings that we can accrue or realize because of this new technology will lower the cost to everybody. There won't be any advantage to the city in revenue because of the savings. It'll all go back to the customer.
Thank you. Councilor Newman.
I have a question, I guess, because of the public comment. Is there anything that the city does when there's a bill that is normally $100 and then for some reason they get a $1,000 one? Is there anything that the city does for that business owner or resident?
Yeah, Mayor, we will, so with the smart meters, if the leak or whatever is within those parameters, we can get that notification pretty, like right away. The guys check the report every morning. On the other ones, we don't get that until the end of the month when they go and do the drive-by meter reads. And when we see those, we'll make contact with the customer if it's outside of those parameters. Does that answer your question?
No.
Go ahead.
So the ones that it's a month, right? And you go and you're like, hey, this is really big, and you try to make contact with that customer. Does the city do anything to help with that bill that has been large because it took us so long to go read that meter?
I got you. Yeah, Mayor, through you, the water runs through the meter. It's being used by that customer, whether they have a leak on their side. That's not necessarily a city issue, right? We take care of everything on the upside of the meter. Everything on the other side that goes through the meter is technically the customer's responsibility.
Good question, follow-up. So just to clarify, if it were something that was taking place on the side of the city, we would cover that, do what we needed, reimburse, that sort of thing. But if I have a leak in my house and I don't know about it, then I'm going to pay for it because it's now in my house.
Yeah, Mayor, that's correct. Okay. And if it was on the city side, it wouldn't be running through the meter anyway.
Got it. Thank you.
We have already finished public comment on this agenda item, and there were none. Huh? If you can come up, we'll allow it this time, but when public comment is finished, we move on. If you can state your name for the record, please.
My name is Mary Ann Perez, and I was wondering, what is the cost of the meters, and what is the cost to maintain the cloud?
We're taking comments, and...
Well, that's my comment, okay? I would like to know what the cost of the meters are, and can these be overridden? Because it's a smart meter, and we've seen what has happened in Texas when they have these smart meters with their electric. They can the city controls that to their convenience. So is that going to happen here in Laramie to the people when you want to stop their water? That's a comment.
Thank you for your comments. Yes, Mr. Hale. Please state your name for the record.
Tim Hale. I was unaware that public comments had ceased regarding this agenda item, but nevertheless, I got a atrocious water bill, and I brought it to the attention of the water department, and through further investigation, I received a letter stating that the water meter was defective. And I said, okay, fine, and they're going to replace the water meter. what about my bill? And my experience with the city is when they recognize that there's a defective water meter, as long as the bill is in their favor, you get no relief. And in fact, they actually even went out into the street area
Point of order,
off my
Mayor.
property.
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Hale, and I would love to hear this information later if you would like to share it, but right now we are on the topic of purchasing these smart meters. Do you have comments on the smart meter?
Yes, well, it does relate to that.
Well, we need to stay focused on that.
Yes, and so, once again, I think Mr. Shumway's comments are valid, that if there's a savings, certainly freight on 600 meters, I think is probably pretty sizable. My question relating to this is, if these smart meters are smart, will the accuracy be better than what's there now? Because what I've experienced was a defective meter, and then the city subsequently came out and failed to do a call before you dig and dug up and made a mess. So I didn't get any relief if the issue comes before the council regarding meters, and that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Mayor, you do have a hand online from Adele.
Yes, go ahead.
So, Dale, if you could accept the promotion to a panelist, it'll allow you to turn your camera on and make comment. Dale, if you could turn your camera on and unmute. That's as much as I can do here.
Okay. We'll move on for right now, and possibly the comment could come at our last public comment. City Clerk, if you can, please call the roll. Huh?
Council comment.
Back to comments, okay. Yes, Councilor Newman.
If I'm reading this right, staff, each one of these are $372, is that correct? It is, I think, what this packet is showing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for answering that question as well. Vice Mayor.
Thanks. In hearing this, it sounds to me like, well, this is going to be helpful to community members and that we'll be able to detect these things quicker and hopefully make less of a mess in people's homes. So I am in favor of this. I think it seems like a smart idea to use them on smart devices. I don't think they're always that smart, but sometimes.
Further comment? I think, first of all, this could be helpful for landlords and rentals to track water usage in their properties. And secondly, as a person who had a pipe break inside the house while on vacation, I came back to a real mess, and it would have been nice for me to be notified that that was going on, because it went on for 5 days of water leaking into the basement. So, further comments?
Mayor,
did Dale come back? No.
I mean, the hand is there again, Mayor, if you want me to try to promote Dale again. Is that what you were asking?
Yes. No. Okay.
Dale, you're in the room. Can you turn your camera on and unmute?
Okay. We will continue. Any last comments from council?
Are we there?
It's video.
We can hear you. Can you turn on your camera for us?
Right. This is Lori, and my question is...
The camera needs to be on, Lori. You need to turn your camera on, please.
All right, there we go. So my question is...
Your camera needs to be on.
To save 32 hours of city time per month, does that justify the cost of these meters?
Thank you for your comment. All right. City Clerk, if you can please call the roll.
Bowling.
Yes.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
No.
Newman.
No.
O'Doherty, absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Behill.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
That's 6 yeses, 2 noes, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That motion passes. Item 14, award for contract for the traffic signal detection. Councilor Freed.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to award the contract for the traffic signal detection replacement project to Altitude Signal LLC out of Loveland, Colorado, in an amount not to exceed $179,030, and authorize the mayor and the city clerk to sign.
Second.
I have a motion from Freed, second from Richardson. Welcome back, Director Webb.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, our existing traffic detection processors are about 10 years old, and as of this year, they are not compatible with the existing software. So upgrade is required. The new system will be enhanced to support high dynamic range video, so that helps in low lighting. A lot of times at night or really at dusk, our traffic detection cameras don't pick it up because of the lighting. And then also we have those times of years where in the morning where that sun's coming down and hits those cameras and just totally messes up our traffic detection. The new system is pretty neat in that it also will give us, we can record traffic counts, so it'll help us with any engineering studies we do on traffic. This is to replace 14 cameras and 13 detection controllers. The reason there's 14 cameras is one of the intersections, the intersection at Harney and 30th requires 2 cameras because of the configuration there. Altitude Signal is the sole source dealer for the GridSmart in this region, and we received a cost from them for $179,030. I'll take any questions if you have them.
Thank you, Director. Councilor Lockhart.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Director. So are there, I see nothing on 3rd Street, Grand Avenue, anything of that nature. Have those already been replaced, or those are in the future? Are they a different system, or?
Yeah, Mayor, through you, those are YDOT signals. Anything on Grand, 3rd, Snowy Range, or YDOT signals. We do have 6 other traffic signals that do not have detection on them, and the reason is because YDOT actually doesn't use traffic detection, they use timing, and so ours that line up with YDOT's, we set on timing. We have 6 of those intersections. So 13 we have traffic detection on, and 6 we do not. They're on timers.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Webb. So we have outdated tech that is no longer supported, so we have to do these. Are we going to need to eventually update all of our lights, or do we already have some of this tech on some of the lights? Or is it just specific to certain lights that we have this tech on?
Yeah, Mayor, through you, this is updating the 13 intersections that have traffic detection.
Okay, so there aren't any others that we'll eventually need?
The other ones are on timing.
Great, thank you for clarifying that. You probably had that in the report.
Further questions? Councilor Bowling.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Director Webb. Just for my own edification, can you remind me how where this is grant funded through and when that was received?
Mayor, through you, this is not grant funded, this is general fund.
Thank you. Further questions? Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Yes, sir. Oops, sorry. And if you can state your name for the record, thank you.
Brandon Comenti, Council and Mayor. The question I have would be more back to Mr. Webb here, but with a lot of the stuff going on, I understand that these are going to have the traffic data in there as well. As a business person, I know a lot of the times when we're trying to do stuff, we're required to do a traffic study for our business. Would all of that data then be available for public use as well?
Director Webb, I would ask if you could respond to that, please.
Yeah, Mayor, I think once we get everything installed, that data could be used for traffic studies that are being done inside the city.
Very good. Thank you. Any further public comment? Seeing none, back to council for comments. Council, any comments? Seeing none, city clerk, if you can please call the roll.
Bowling.
Yes.
Freed.
Aye.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty, absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Vigil.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 noes, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, city clerk. That motion passes. Item 15, award for contract of the Laramie Bike Park Project. Councilor Freed.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the City Council approve the contract between American Ramp Company and the City of Laramie, Wyoming for the final design and construction of the Laramie Bike Park in an amount not to exceed $1,200,000 and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
I have a motion from Freed, second from Richardson. Good evening, Director Bork.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. So as you are aware, we have been working on the Laramie Bike Park project for many, many years, long before I got here. Last December, I had the unfortunate duty of coming to you to reject an original bid when we had a $900,000 bid project total amount. And a couple of months after that, I came to you and asked to increase that budget up to $1.4 million so that we could put that bid back out and hopefully get a successful bid. And I'm happy to say that tonight we have had a successful bidding process. And American Ramp Company is the company that we're recommending for the bike park project. Just to cover some of the just so that I can cover some of the highlights of this. American Ramp Company is out of Joplin, Missouri. They are one of the premier bike park manufacturers. The funding for this project is grant funded and specific purpose tax funded. So $700,000 of WARG funding from the Wyoming Outdoor Recreation Grant and another $700,000 from the specific purpose tax mill levy. So that's where the $1.4 million comes from. The bid award tonight, or the project award tonight, is for $1.2 million. For that $1.2 million, we will, American Ramp Company, as you see in the summary, will develop a skills development area so that adults and children alike can develop the mountain biking skills necessary to safely ride up in the mountains. An asphalt pump track. Originally, it was designed to be a dirt pump track. This asphalt pump track will be the very first asphalt pump track in the state of Wyoming. And because it's being developed by Vela Solutions, which is a subsidiary of American Ramp Company, it will make us eligible for hosting qualifier events for the UCI Pump Track World Championships. That last was held in Erie, Colorado. And just to give you an idea, the estimated low-end value from an economic development standpoint, the economic impact was about $500,000 when it was held in Erie just for that single event. So We're very excited that that's going to be a possibility for us as well. Progressive jump lines, which are the flat jump lines where people can, not me, I will not be out there, but people can go and do the dirt jumps, as well as downhill slope style, which is the gravity trails, and then park signage throughout. In addition to that, we are going to be we're working on an MOU right now with the Laramie BikeNet trail ferries to complete another section that is the single track loop that kind of goes from the recreation center out to the bike park, so it'll provide some connectivity from both the parking lot and the rec center. There are a few things that we're not getting as part of the project that we just could not work into the budget. There was originally a kids skills development area that was closer to the rec center. We'll have to put that into a phase 2. We don't have budget right now for any shelters that were originally developed or parking lots. So my hope is that we develop a very, very successful bike park that has a lot of popularity, and I can come back to you with a phase 2 project for that. The other $200,000 that's in that $1.4 million budget is for completing some other aspects that we did not want to contract with the bike park builder, things like irrigation and doing a water tap to get the irrigation, some fencing, and then some of the materials for doing the single track trail and a few other miscellaneous things. But we're very excited, the community is very excited that I've talked to the biking community to get this project moving forward, and I'm here if you have any questions.
Thank you, Director. Councilors, questions? Councilor Lockhart.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Director Bork. When does this get all started?
Mayor, through you, we will begin the final design phase. So this was done as a design build project. So we'll be working with American Ramp Company once we're under contract to finalize the design this fall. Over the winter, they'll be manufacturing the hardened jumps and ramps and approaches that people launch off of, so it won't be launching off of the dirt. And then an estimated install starting in early spring, with hopefully a completion by about mid-July is our estimation.
Mayor, we're getting reports from the back of the room that a few of the councilors' microphones are hard to hear. So if you wouldn't mind for this evening, maybe holding your microphone close when you speak might help a little bit. Broadcast said they've turned up the microphone, so that would be our next best option. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Shumway.
Thank you, Mayor. Director Bork, thank you for all the work that you've done on this. I have a question. Initially, I understand that this proposed park is in a serious floodplain. Has there been thought put into making sure that any improvements will not be ruined by a serious flood?
Honorable Mayor, through you. It's not in a floodplain. It's actually on the slope that's between the high school and the recreation center. There's a big detention pond right next to it, but the bike park is not in that detention pond itself. With that said,
I wanted to add, Mayor, engineering's reviewed this, and it will not reduce the capacity of the detention pond that it is next to, if that's where you're going. So it's next to the detention pond, but it does not reduce the capacity of the pond.
And to add on to that, all of the elements will be compacted dirt that, were there any, issues we'll be having a repair plan in place for any of that contingency. But it's designed for that contingency.
Thank you. Councilor Freed.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Director Bork, have you worked with any of the local bike organizations like Laramie BikeNet for this project or ongoing with this project?
Honorable Mayor, through you, yes, we have been, from the beginning, Laramie BikeNet's been in and provided a lot of the design suggestions that went into the final design that created the construction documents. And then, as I said, we'll be working with the BikeNet trail ferries to work on as a volunteer project to complete the single track trail.
Thank you. Further questions? Seeing none, is there any public comment on this agenda item? Seeing none, I return to council for comments. Seeing none, City Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Bowling.
Yes.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty, absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Vigil.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That motion passes. Item 16, award of contract for mosquito control. Vice Mayor Richardson.
Thank you. I move that the council approve the contract between Crop Air LLC and the City of Laramie for aerial applications for mosquito control over the next 2 years and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
I have a motion by Richardson, second by Vigil. Welcome back, Director Bork.
Thank you. It's been forever, it seems like. Honorable Mayor, City Council. So every 2 years, we put out an RFQ for mosquito aerial spraying for both larval and adulticide aerial applications. The time has come that we had to put that back out. We had one bid from Crop Air LLC, and their numbers were consistent with what our last contracts have been, and so we recommend award to Crop Air LLC for the next 2 years. As you see, the first year is for a not-to-exceed price of $101,500 and a total contract price of a not-to-exceed over the course of 2 years for $203,000. There is a provision in the contract for the second year for up to a 3.5% increase in the fee if need be for material costs. And I'll be here for any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Director. Questions, councilors? Councilor Newman.
If I missed this, I apologize, but because we started the surface water drainage fee with the new, the people who weren't getting bills that are now getting bills, has that mosquito fee per residence gone down?
Honorable Mayor, through you, as far as I'm aware, it's not gone up or down.
Further questions? Councilor Lockhart.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Director. Any reason the last company that's been doing our aerial didn't put a bid in?
Honorable Mayor, through you, yes, there was a death in the family, and so this Crop Air LLC actually had taken over the last part of the contract to fill that gap.
Thank you. Further questions? Seeing none, is there any public comment on this agenda item? Seeing none, back to council for comments. Councilor Vigil.
Thank you, Mayor. I always kind of joke about it, but one thing about me is I hate mosquitoes, and anyone who knows me knows that. And so I just wanted to remind the public that we actually had a really great work session on mosquito control back during our May 27th work session, and so that should be online. And I know I learned a lot just about mosquito control and maintenance, and why the foggers run sometimes and not other times, and about aerial spraying as well. So it was a really good session. Happy to send the link to anyone who wants it.
Thank you, Councilor Vigil. Further comments? City Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Bowling.
Yes.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty, absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Vigil.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That motion passes. On to item 17, Memorandum of Understanding between the City of Laramie and Ivinson. Councilor Lockhart.
Yes, I'm trying to pull it up. I couldn't get it pulled up. Got it. All right. I move that the council approves the memorandum of understanding between the City of Laramie and Ivinson Memorial Hospital to facilitate the transfer of patients to other facilities and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign. Thanks.
Second.
I I have a motion from Lockhart, second from Richardson. Welcome, Chief Johnson.
Honorable Mayor, members of council, on September 1st, IMH will start performing all their own interfacility transfers out from their facility to other hospitals. It could include rehab facilities, nursing facilities, residences, and any other specialty facility. We're required to do this MOU. We need to have an agreement in place as per Laramie Municipal Code 8.7. And the MOU basically would allow this to happen. The MOU also covers the roles and responsibilities of each party. LFD will continue performing all 911 services for the community. IMH is lined out for the interfacility transfers. It covers our liability insurance and status of our parties as being separate. It also covers the communication we'll have regarding interfacility transfers, and we'll keep communicating about it. We do have a mutual aid portion in there for each entity should one agency need help from the other. Within that mutual aid section, there's a billing component where we would be allowed to do the billing, and then if that doesn't cover costs, then we could submit an additional to cover costs, and that could work the other way too. Term would start September 1st and would go on until either party wants to make an amendment or wanted to end it. It would take a mutual agreement. There would be 12 months that we'd be able to work on that. And then if a mutual agreement couldn't be worked out, then there would be 5 years notice to end it. So that being said, I stand for questions.
Thank you, Chief. Councilor Newman?
Have they started transfers yet? Because I have seen like their ambulance out and about, so I didn't know if they've started these already.
Through you, Mayor.
Yes.
They have not. They're out and about doing things. I know the other day they went over to have like tires put on one of them in Cheyenne. So you'll see the ambulances rolling, but September 1st they'll be doing their own.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, and I apologize if this is a little bit of a silly question. You can kind of set me straight here. But on page 3, section 5, the mutual aid, it says the agency being asked will provide support if it is available and does not put its own service area at risk. What happens if the one entity, if IMH needs support, but we are also out? Like, what's the contingency, or what's the backup plan if for some reason the party requesting the risk can't do it and we can't do it?
So for us, we would either say we can or can't do it, and where we would say we can't do it would be because we're already running other calls and we're down on staffing. As far as going on from there, they could call in air services, those type of things.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Further questions, Councilor Freed?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief Johnson, for all your work on this and city staff getting this thing dialed in. My only question is on section 4 in communication. Each party will designate a primary point of contact for this MOU. I was just curious if that was yourself or city manager, or if there was a primary contact for this that's already been established.
I will be the primary point of contact for the MOU if it required our city team. We've had a city team working on this transition for quite a while. Either side could bring together more people, but the primary contact would be myself and then a hospital representative, and we would go from there and set up a larger communication if it was needed. So,
thanks, Chief.
Okay.
Further questions? Thank you. Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Nope. Seeing none, back to council for comments. Councilor Shumway.
Thank you, Mayor. I am so pleased to see this moving forward. I think the genesis of this began 10 years ago when I brought back information to our city manager regarding the savings that would come to the city if we were to do our own billing. I'm very much in support of this. I think we are going to see a great savings to the city, and I appreciate all the work that's been done.
Thank you. Further comments? City Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Bowling.
Aye.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty, absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Behill.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That motion passes. On to item 18, resolution recommending approval of the North 4th Street Urban Renewal Plan.
Thank you, Mayor. Oops, sorry about that. I move to
Director-
approve Resolution 2025-64, recommending approval of the North 4th Street Urban Renewal Plan and project for the City of Laramie pursuant to Wyoming Statute Section 15-9-110, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
I have a motion from Richardson, second from Hill. Director Tini, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Tonight we have a resolution here, as it states, recommending approval of the North 4th Street Urban Renewal Plan and project for the City of Laramie. This is a kind of project that's been ongoing for quite some time. The council has heard multiple presentations over the last about 3 years as we've established the Urban Renewal Authority, established the Urban Renewal Agency, as well as then moving forward with this project, which is our first plan and project. The real main focus of this project is that North 4th Street corridor. This is the area that's located around the old Public Works facility buildings that are located on 4th Street, just west of Labonte Park. You'll see within the plan and project that's part of your packet that it also includes other properties that are located along the 4th Street corridor. The whole idea behind the Urban Renewal Plan and project that you see before you here is to allow for those property owners to enter into this plan and project to utilize tax increment financing to complete improvements for the area if they are included in it. A few things I kind of want to point out and just kind of discuss with and remind the council of, even though we've talked a little bit about this in the past, is that for tax increment financing, what we're going to be looking at is, as we see improvements in the area, anything above the point of equalization, so when we establish a plan and project, is where those funds we can then use for typical improvements. And typical improvements that we would see within this area would be typically associated with public improvements. Those are things like sidewalks, streets, curbs and gutters, any other types of public infrastructure, parks. I would be remiss not to mention that with Todd Fieser not being here tonight and being able to steal a little bit of his thunder, which normally he'd be probably presenting this project to you. But even at the time when this was established by the state of Wyoming, they were considered about parks and how we might be able to use those funds for that, as well as things like environmental concerns, building construction, facades, things like that. And so really this plan and project provides an opportunity for another funding mechanism for those property owners to kind of catalyze development in this area. As the council is aware of, the city hopes to continue to work on redevelopment of the North 4th Street project, which would then kind of be some of those first major improvements that would then start to accrue some of that funding potential use in this area. A couple things that I'd note is this is a 25-year term, so the plan will last for 25 years. So kind of the purpose of that is it does take time for these improvements to occur. Right now, we don't have any specific project other than the 4th Street. So as we see other development in the area, we want to have time for those funds to collect so that we can reinvest in those properties and start to use that money for the people that have been part of this. I'll also want to point out that during this process, process, we did a heavy public engagement process. We had multiple meetings located up at the 4th Street property. We had over 60 participants come, as well as a survey process that we went through to really engage the property owners in that area as well as the general public into the process that we were going through. The properties that you see that are located within the plan and project area, so it's the map in your document there, we're all notified, they've been part of the process, and they've wanted to be included in the process. One thing I will point out, though, is if you notice, single-family residential and residential properties are not included. We've removed those from the plan and project areas specifically because of the changes that we're seeing at the state level related to taxes. The main purpose of that is that we know that as that funding is reduced at the state level, if we started our point of equalization with those properties, we'd actually have to play catch up because we would lose money in the total if we were to include those. And so we chose not to include those because it would be harmful to the overall development and receiving of funds for use in that area. I do want to note that we do have the chair of the Urban Renewal Authority here, Fred Schmeckel. He was integral in the development of this, forming the URA and getting that moving forward, but also kind of shepherding through this first plan and project. Also, I want to thank Todd Fieser. He was also instrumental in making sure that this happened and we could get this project in front. The plan and project that you have before you was done by AVI Consulting and Mark Christensen. You've seen him present a few times, and so, with that, really kind of our next steps that we anticipate are actual plans and projects to come forward where these developers or property owners may propose improvements so that we can utilize these funds depending upon the timing and what those might be. Might be simple curbs or sidewalks or something bigger. So with that, want to remind the council that the Urban Renewal Authority did approve the plan and project that's before you at their 6/26 meeting of this year, and the Planning Commission also approved their this plan and project at their July 14th meeting. For you tonight, you had a required public hearing that was earlier on your agenda. That is required by state statute in order for this to be approved, as well as multiple publications in the Laramie Boomerang. And so with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Director. Questions, councilors? Councilor Bowling.
Thank you, Mayor. More of a quick, just clarification comment, but although council has seen it many times, I do not believe that the map is included currently in this packet as on the published agenda. And so I would just ask that if that is indeed missing, because I can't see it here, that be uploaded for the public.
It's in the second attachment.
It's in the second attachment? Because to me, it's only showed. It didn't load. Never mind. Okay, so that's a silly question.
Thank you,
and
Councilor.
I apologize for that, but I do have a follow-up.
Okay,
and
continue.
For the public that are in the room and might be watching online, I know that some people have been had questions about things like the cathedral home or the animal shelter, et cetera. And can you just talk a little bit about how those factor into this project?
Yeah, so the cathedral home property there's a couple pieces of property and buildings that are located on the kind of near the park there, which one of those being the animal shelter, the other being the cathedral home site. The city of Laramie, I think, is continuing to work with the cathedral home on that location and wouldn't be affected by any of the plan and project that you have before you today. With the proposed redevelopment of the 4th Street project, We've discussed with the council many times that really the animal shelter is kind of located right smack in the middle of probably where we would see redevelopment. And our long-term hope is that we can relocate the animal shelter to a conducive location that's not here, but somewhere where they would have a new facility and be able to continue to operate. And so that's the plan at this point. And with the plan and project that you have before you tonight, doesn't necessarily affect that today because we're not actually doing anything physical development yet. So.
Thank you, Director. Further questions? Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Director Tini. In the resolution, it notes on page 2I that because North 4th Street Urban Renewal Plan and Project does not propose relocating any residential properties, there's no need to designate a method for relocation. And so in this first phase, there's nothing for that. If the property owner where the trailer parks are chose to become a part of the URA, would we then work to make sure those folks had a space to move to?
Yeah, Chair or Council, this is a great question. So as you see in number I there about the relocating residential properties, that's a requirement of this Wyoming state statutes in terms of when you do these planned and projects. I think as you heard Member Matamore speak to during the public comment, days of old, these types of processes were used to just relocate neighborhoods for whatever reason, right? And a lot of times it was not good reasons. This is included in there so that if, for instance, let's say the mobile home park that's located across 4th Street, which is included within the urban renewal plan, we then go through processes to, try to work to find relocation and not just leave them on the streets. And it's really intended to create a positive situation in potential future development that we might see because of the plan and project.
Thank you. Further questions? Seeing none, is there any public comment on this agenda item? Yes, sir.
It's been Arvin Martinez, local business owner.
Thank you very much
for the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
This is exactly the reason why we need to attend these meetings. How many of you people knew that these things are going on? Our owner of the trailer court is right here, okay? This is how this man makes his money. I got in trouble mentioning names. Do I need to refer to him as the planner?
The director.
The director. Does anybody know now that chain link fences are outlawed in Laramie, Wyoming? Chain link fences are a necessity. That's just common sense. My dad used to put in fences in the 70s. I used to help him. There's nothing wrong with a chain link fence. It's a very appropriate.
If you can focus on.
I have a point.
Okay.
So this whole urban renewal 4th Street, it sounds like one person knew about it. Okay? This is why we got to become educated with what's going on here. The city had to buy the old gymnastics building because of one of the reasons why we're all here tonight, because it floods all the time. Okay? We know we have a problem. But is Sunbelt Rentals, because they're leaving, I just found that out last meeting.
Sir, you need to focus on the urban renewal.
This is 4th Street. They are going out of town. So does that mean by having this great project, by redoing all the city buildings on 4th Street, does that mean that all these businesses that are there have to adhere to this no chain link fence and all this other stuff that we've been doing for the last 50 years? It's just common sense, people. Think about what you're doing. Laramie's been around a lot longer than these great new ideas.
Thank you. Mr. Matamore.
Tom Matamore. As I mentioned earlier, I am in favor of this. To correct the record, I think Planning Department did numerous public outreaches before it was passed. We did urban renewal at Freedom Had a Birthday. We did there was one public event on the actual property. We had another one in the rec center. They got quite contentious. A lot of people was there. I think they've done quite a lot of public presentation on it. I have spoken to anybody who will listen to me about this and stormwater and anything else that the city gets involved in. And I also have to correct the record. Any private property owner can only participate in this voluntarily. Nobody's forcing anybody to participate in this. This is entirely voluntary if somebody wants to. There are good sound reasons why Sunbelt left. I won't go into them because it's not germane. Some of them have to do with the condition of the actual property they were on. I think that's a big part of it. Thank you for your time, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Matamore. Any further public comment? Seeing none, I return to council for comments. Councilor Lockhart.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm actually on the URA as a city council liaison, so I've seen from day one when I took office, sitting down with Mr. Schmeckel, going through this project, sat at a couple open houses that were held. Actually, I'm also on the planning commission as a city liaison, so I've been involved in that too. So I've been able to see and hear concerns from citizens. The open house had 2 of them that day, and it was fantastic. So there's been opportunity. And I actually even got to speak to Mr. Cisneros, I believe, at one of them. So I'm excited for it. It's going to clean up, the city buildings and whatnot. Businesses along that way, if they want to be involved, great. If not, they don't have to be. But it's just one of the projects, and I'm really excited to see what could happen after this also. So thank you.
Thank you. Further comment? Seeing none, City Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Bowling.
Yes.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty, absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Vigil.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That motion passes. And now to item 21, Councilor Bowling.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilor Newman.
This is going to take a while. Is there any way we can take a 5-minute break before these 2?
Bathroom break.
Yeah, please.
We will take a 5-minute break. And if councilors can go ahead and begin that now. And I would like to remind people that, before you go, I'd like to remind people that by statute, our meeting must finish at 9:30. If we are still in the midst of discussion, then the council can vote to suspend the rules and go until 10 p.m., and then we must stop. So if we can be mindful that we have considerable amount of time left, but to be aware that there is an end time. Thank you. Order, please. Call to order, please. Call to order, please. Thank you. It's tough taking a break right in the middle. So, next, everyone settled? We will move on to the next item. Councilor Bowling.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve resolution suspending Laramie Municipal Code 13.80.020 and 13.80.060 for collection and billing of surface water drainage utility fees, authorizing already approved expenditures, freezing new appropriations, and providing for reconsideration of surface water credits and appeals as established by Laramie Municipal Code 13.80.050 and 13.80.070, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
I have a motion from Bowling, second from Shumway. Good evening, Director Webb.
Good evening again, Mayor. So we provided you a whole lot of background and information in your package tonight. And so what staff did was kind of summarize that in a just hit that, the arrow, just summarize that in a few slides for you. I'm going to go through the first few slides, and then the city manager and Director Wade will take the rest of the slides. I just wanted to note too, we have Elizabeth Treadway, who I think you all probably recall with WSP Online. So, without further ado, why are we here? Why did the surface water come into place? Well, we have a problem, right? Historic repetitive failure of the stormwater system. We have areas in the city that are underserved. We have areas that the system is undersized. When we have rain events, we have impact to property and property owners, interruption to business and commerce. Just last week, we had a rainstorm. It was kind of pockets where it hit harder than others, but we had a couple of businesses up at the intersection of 30th and Grand that we got calls from that had some flooding and some issues up in that area. They create impassable and safe public right-of-ways during large precipitation events. And then water quality issues. When we have those events, we get a lot of sediment and a lot of gunk that runs out into the river. The other thing that we haven't really talked much about in the past was we get stormwater inflow and infiltration into our sanitary sewer system, which creates a problem at our treatment plant. When we have large events, one in particular that I recall was in August of 2022, they took in 200% more water than they normally do. And when that happens, that increased flow of water kills all the microbiology that's occurring in there for the treatment process. And at that time, during that rain event, they literally took them 3 weeks to get the plant back to where it should be operating. So why we're here again is we've had annual goals of every city council since 2017. In your packet, I even have additional information that goes back to 2014, 2015 for council goals related to stormwater. Those goals were to address deficient undersized infrastructure, extend stormwater systems into unserved areas of the community. You may recall in 2016, 2017, we did a large project over in West Laramie, the Linford Drainage Project, which basically created a detention basin underneath the parking lot there of the schools. Pretty cool project. And then Wyoming Avenue project that's occurring now. Between those two projects alone, $8 million in infrastructure. Another reason was to implement and provide resources to sustain best management practices, maintenance and operation. From January 21, 2023 to July 1, 2025, there were 24 public votes of the City Council related to surface water. Could have been ordinances, resolutions, contracts, items related with surface water. Since 2017, 27 public votes. This next slide was put together by our Public Information Officer, Owen, and kind of gives a timeline of our public engagement, if you will, for surface water, stormwater issues. He estimates over 34,000 placements for public view. You see the timeline there that includes social media, press releases, radio, news flashes. And then in addition, there were 24 meetings or forums from January 1st, 2023 to July 1, 2025. 34 total public meetings or forums from 2017 to 2025. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the city manager.
Thank you, Director Webb.
I'm just going to leave this here.
Thank you, Council. So moving to the next slide, we've had a lot of dialogue over the last few years, in particular as the Council approached last fall of 24's consideration of adopting a stormwater or surface water utility fund as a part of the Laramie Municipal Code. So I wanted to just give a little refresher for those of you that have been through this. I apologize, but I do think it's important context as I've sat through the last two public meetings where we've had a lot of public comment asking, well, why isn't this funded through property tax? And what I will tell you is we have been funding storm sewer improvements through property tax, and our sales and use tax are 5th and 6th local pennies that the voters approve every 4 years. When you look at, and this will be a refresher for most of you, when you look at those three options of user fees or rates, which is what we're here to talk about tonight, versus property tax or sales and use tax, there are some key principles to keep in mind. When we build rates in the public sector, just like in the private sector where I started my career, we want rates that are equitable. And how we define an equitable rate is that the benefit received is based on the amount of stormwater runoff contributed to the system. There's a nexus between what happens and what stormwater goes into the system and what an individual payer will pay. So user fees and rates are considered the most equitable way to assess stormwater fees because the total amount of stormwater generated via developed property then correlates to the total impervious area within the community. By contrast, property tax and sales and use taxes have no nexus. The consumers who pay sales and use tax, there's no nexus between that consumer activity and the stormwater load in the system. There is also no nexus between property taxes, which are based on assessed valuation. So both of those taxes are considered to be non-equitable ways of paying for stormwater costs across the community. The other key thing I wanted to point out as a refresher for you all, I know you talked about this, but as the council made the decision to adopt the stormwater utility fund, there was conversation about, well, who pays? And one thing to keep in mind is with property tax and with sales tax, of course, our tax exempt entities and property owners do not pay. And so in Laramie, if we were paying for stormwater through property tax, our large 30% of our community basically that is owned by non-tax-paying entities would not be contributing. Director Webb ran a rough estimate. If we were paying with those taxes, there would be a rough $92 per month increase for the rest of us who are taxable owners who would continue to pay. So for that reason, user fees and rates were determined by City Council through the adoption of the municipal code to be the fairest way to assess that cost and make sure that our private landowners were not paying or subsidizing the cost for our public landowners, like the University of Wyoming, like all of the local units of government, city, county, state, federal, and all the districts. That would be school districts, that would be the fire district, that would be the hospital district, the community college, et cetera. And then lastly, the thing that you looked at was, well, is this funding source reliable? And we, for a long time in Wyoming, I've been here my entire life, we have believed that property tax was a very reliable source of revenue. But what we've seen in the last year is the legislature really taking a different approach. And I think it is fair to say that at this point, the reliability of property taxes continuing at their current level is a lot lower than it was 5 years ago. Sales and use tax are considered low reliability to fund ongoing needs of a stormwater system in perpetuity for generations to come, because those sales taxes have to be renewed every 4 years by the voters. So that leaves us with user fees or rates for a utility fund as having high reliability and being able to sustain a multi-million-dollar operation for generations. So where we are tonight, the cost of service, user fees, and rates that you adopted were based on the cost of service and apportioning that cost out. So there is a nexus between what people pay and the services they receive. 7,813 of the landowners are considered residential. 2,189 are non-residential. And of that entire universe of land parcels, which is 10,002, 5% of landowners in Laramie will pay more, $50 or more per month. So residential landowners will take a little bit deeper dive here. Our consultant provided this analysis to us. I provided it to council earlier this week. There are those 7,813 parcels owned by residential property owners. You'll see that 91% are paying $25 or less per month. 88% are paying $25 or less per month, and 99.7% of our residential parcels are paying $50 or less. If we want to focus on the outliers, the people who maybe do have large substantial acreages that they're living on, we've heard a lot from Cottonwood Estates and some of our property owners out in the West Laramie area, which was, as we know, originally developed as a rural subdivision, so it has characteristics that are unlike most city housing areas. When you look at those, the outliers are this. We have 34 of those 7,813 parcels, or roughly half of 1%, who are going to pay $50 or more per month. And we do have 7 parcels who are going to pay $100 or more per month. And I think we all recognize that that's a lot for presumably a single-family home. But it is the minority, those outliers, but they are real. If we move and look at non-residential landowners, again, out of the 10,002 parcels, 2,189 are non-residential or business owned by corporations, LLCs, folks of that, owners of that nature. What we see here from our consultant breaking this down is the outliers. There are more outliers here. 49% of all the non-residential owners are going to pay 15 or less. 77% of all non-residential parcels will pay 50 or less. Then I drilled down a little bit more because I know we've heard a lot from our business owners, particularly those who operate businesses that require a lot of acreage, a lot of space. When you look at the parcels that are going to pay $100 or more per month, there are 283 of those, which is about 13% of all of the non-residential parcels. And when you look at those who are going to pay $150 or more per month, they're 8.8% of all of our non-residential, or 194. So what you really see here is you do have about 500 parcels in town that are paying a significant rate. I don't know, that'll be up to you all, council, to decide if $100 or more per month is sort of the magic tipping point, where at that point we decide it was affordable under that, but it's unaffordable above that. That number is for you to determine, but here is some data to help you kind of understand the universe of outliers, the people who are paying a lot more than the average. I think what you'll see, though, is the average is considered very reasonable across the industry and across the nation. And I think even as we look at the other communities in Wyoming who have also adopted stormwater systems. With that, I'm going to let Director Wade come up and talk to you with respect to some of the fiscal disclosures that we need to make, because if we were to make these decisions tonight, it has implications for the budget you all adopted and contracts and purchase orders and such that you've already approved.
Thank you. Director Wade, welcome.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the council, and members of the community who are with us this evening. I want to thank Director Webb for compiling the information you see in the presentation this evening as I was out of the office. City Clerk, if you could go to the next slide, please. We just want to present kind of the biggest picture view for you of what the City of Laramie has invested to date in determining the need for our surface water drainage infrastructure. The studies you see here are represented to you graphically based on the amount of money spent since 2007. So from about 2007 to 2005, the city has invested about $2.4 million in determining the various needs across our community for surface water drainage infrastructure. This work covers multiple studies, which you'll see here, going all the way back to the West Laramie Drainage Master Plan and the South Laramie Drainage Plan, which is the first one I remember starting in about 2011. And so we wanted you to be able to see what it took to quantify this type of infrastructure in our community, because as you know, it only existed in a really limited way. And so part of the work and part of the journey has been determining for the city what the infrastructure needs really are. If you can go to the next slide. And as you also know, when we approved the budget last year, we actually created the new fund for the surface water drainage utility. We discussed that fund, and you may recall that there were some supplemental appropriations associated with that new fund, and City Engineer Japp reviewed each of those with you. And so when the new fiscal year started, the spending in this fund also started. You also will recall that when the council voted to create the utility last December, that the general fund started paying for specifically a position in order to get some of the billing implementation done. And so the general fund paid for the expenses until the implementation of the fee per the ordinance on July the 1st. And so if we look at what's happened to date in fiscal year 2025, we just want to make sure that you are informed that we have some obligated funds here that are for this work, and you can see kind of the scope of work that has been performed to date. We've built GIS parcel data sets. We've had to validate the land module to make sure that those billings really mapped out to impervious area and the right parcel units. This was something that happened over months and started last January and actually culminated in July. And so through about a 6-month period, anything before July would have been spent from the general fund. Anything after would be in our new surface water drainage fund. And so these are the things that have gone on to date. We also do want to let you know that 4 of 6 newly hired staff members are being paid for as of the new fiscal year with these new surface water drainage funds. And so in the spirit of disclosure, we want to make sure that that's part of the record for this evening. And I'll turn it over to the city manager, I believe.
Thank you. So just wrapping up, Council, a couple final slides. When I became aware of these items for the agenda tonight, I worked with staff and we assessed what work is in progress, and as of July 29th have put stop work orders on the following items until we get some direction from you this evening. These were council approved contracts or projects, but we're going to stop work on these so that we can understand where we're headed with this, and we certainly don't want to be out incurring an additional $3.5 million of financial obligations if the future of the revenue source is changing. We were planning a large amount of construction. As you can see here, I'm not going to run through it, but it's focused largely in West Laramie to bring new infrastructure into that area that doesn't have it, of course, and then also to work on detention areas that exist in the hills in northeast Laramie, where we see a lot of flooding, as recently as last week when we had that fun little rainstorm. So we were planning for construction and engineering to occur on these projects fall 26 through fall of 29. These are calendar years. We will stop that work. What this means is, as you guys well know, we're always working about 18 to 24 months ahead. So we were preparing requests for proposals and such to go out this fall to get engineering underway and bid documents to get construction underway. If we do not put those documents out this fall, it's not not the end of the world. We can certainly do that in the spring, but it will set us back by at least a construction year or maybe 2. And so we can expect these projects, if you proceed forward with surface water, to still occur, but they will occur likely more in the range of fall of 28, 7, maybe into fall of 30, 31. Last thing I wanted to tell you is these are 2 items that I have not asked for a management stop work order on. They are what I consider time-sensitive work in progress. And so I would like to disclose to you that we would like to continue working on these depending on your vote tonight. If you pause this, we will continue working. Obviously, if you vote to move the repeal, I would change my opinion on this slide, but we do have $1 million of time-sensitive work. One is the lining of our stormwater lines, the annual CIPP lining of $150,000. We'd like to proceed forward with that. Our hope was to get that done this fall. And then also we've been working on a substantial grant, and we have a very good likelihood of receiving it. If I stop work on this, then we're not going to be able to get the grant in time for the application deadline. And this is a matching grant through the NRCS, Natural Resources Conservation Service. The potential award here is $17 to $20 million. That's huge, with a match of $800,000 to $900,000 from the city. So with your blessing, we'd like to continue work on that if you don't choose to pursue the path of repeal, or if we think we're going to continue working on this for the foreseeable months. If not, that's okay, but I just want you to know we'd like to continue doing that work. That's everything we have for you, unless you have questions for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Lockhart.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Manager and Director Wade. So from what I understand, and again, trying to catch up to speed with this because I didn't vote on this because I wasn't in office till January, but the fund was seeded with $15 million. So say this is repealed or what have you on one of these votes or both of them, and we have work to be done. Can't we use those funds, if we vote on it, to still continue these projects until we get this all worked out? Because I think we all feel we need the infrastructure. We just need to figure out how we're going to fund it properly, because the community's already told us they don't like that. So can we continue to seed it with this money, whether through a vote or what have you?
Thank you, Mayor, through you, Councilor Lockhart. So we have been paying for stormwater for 70 years, 80, 100, I don't know, forever, right? For at least the 30 years I've lived here. We've been doing that with property taxes and sales taxes. The problem is they are insufficient. There is not enough of it to go around. Those property taxes and sales and use taxes, first of all, the city's share of property tax is very small compared to, for instance, what the county gets or the school district. We have 8 mills. I think that's $75 that a resident pays on every $100,000 of home value. So, our total property tax is $5.2 million, I think, this year. Does that ring a bell for you, Jen? No? 4 million. So the reason, and I appreciate, Councilor Lockhart, that you were not here last fall, but as other council members know, it's insufficient. It just does not fund what we need. We have a $130 million need in the stormwater fund, and $4 million of property tax a year is just not going to cut it. It needed dedicated revenue. Did I answer your question?
Follow up?
I mean in the short term, not long term, not long term, short term.
Yeah, so we do have, as Director Wade covered, the council authorized 6 positions that would be dedicated to stormwater maintenance and to the engineering and administration of this program. We've hired 4 of those. We put a halt on the other 2 positions, so we're paying people right now from that $5 million. We also have $500,000 in committed contracts the council have approved already, and a purchase order and items that is detailed in your packet that cannot be pulled back. What I would say is I don't know that we're comfortable committing bid documents or putting out bids for projects until we understand where the council's headed with this. That $5 million we're going to burn through really quickly. And you can see just the West Laramie projects that we were planning. I think we're, I want to say $2 million total. So I guess the answer is yes, we can spend some from that, but it's not going to last for very long. And the 15 million, let me clarify something, it was 5 million seeded from the general fund, from general revenue to start up stormwater. The other 10 million was anticipated grants and loans.
Thank you. Further questions? Okay. I open it for public comment, and we will start. 2 individuals signed up in advance of tonight, and they are on Zoom. The first one to sign up is Sarah Gorin. Oh.
I just have a comment.
Yes.
Remember, this is just on suspending it, not repealing it, so we can't talk about the repeal yet, only the suspending.
Thank you for that clarification. Sarah, can you turn on your camera, please?
Sarah, we can see you in the room. Can you turn your camera on and unmute?
Yes.
Oh.
Whoops. Okay, sorry.
Welcome.
It's a little bit. Okay, my name is Sarah Gorin. I live in the city. I want to speak in favor of this resolution to suspend and to thank the city council and the city staff for their work on keeping the city running every day. It doesn't happen by magic, and it's an ongoing learning experience. It takes some patience, and it inevitably involves some trial and error. I attended a couple of the public meetings on stormwater management early on and learned that towns everywhere struggle with paying for stormwater management. This is mainly because the need for it is episodic, as opposed to the everyday need for streets and water mains and sewer mains. The stormwater event happens, it makes a mess, and 6 months later, most everybody's forgotten about it. But the people who haven't forgotten about it are the people who got flooded, because they're the ones who are paying now. I think what's been lost in this discussion is that there's a cost to not managing stormwater, and that cost is now being disproportionately paid by only one group of city residents, and that's the floodies. I've worked and volunteered for a nonprofit that has been completely flooded at least 4 times in the last 20 years. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that flood water is nasty. It's not just water, it's animal poop and oil and mud, and you really just don't want to think a lot about it. And if you don't do a thorough enough job of cleaning up and drying out, you get mold. So it's really awful to have to spend donors' money on fans and shop vacs and sandbags and having services disrupted rather than that not happen. And imagine if you were living in one of the properties that got drowned in the last big storm a few years ago. I think even cars were flooded in that storm. Imagine your things were ruined and your insurance rates went up, and all that was piled on top of your normal cares and concerns. The property owners who were flooded did nothing to deserve that, any more than the people who are more fortunately situated intended to cause any harm with their runoff. This is a community problem, and it requires a community solution. Modern stormwater management includes protection and enhancement of green spaces, and other mechanisms for absorbing water, so there's extra benefit from greening the city and reducing pollution to the Laramie River. I think the city does need to give more consideration to the various mechanisms that could be used to help pay for stormwater management. But for the sake of the floodies, I urge you councilors to value and build on the efforts and investments that have already been made, not to throw those away, and to give this a pause and figure out how to make it work. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person who signed up in advance and is online is Aubrey Wallace.
Hello, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, good evening.
Oh, good evening. I've prepared a couple of remarks that I am just going to read for you all. Mayor Cumby and councilors, my name is Aubrey Wallace. I serve as the Visual Arts Director at the Laramie Plain Civic Center. We are a standalone nonprofit housed in a historic building that spans an entire city block. Our mission is to be a place where the Laramie community can gather, connect, and grow, and our building accommodates over 95 tenants, serves thousands of Albany County residents each month with space for recreation, arts and culture, and essential services, and conservatively, we contribute to approximately 150 jobs. Our organization will see a 35% increase in our water bill in the amount of $234 per month in the first year. While this is a challenge to our tight budget and our growing climate of depleting resources for nonprofits, the value that could be added by mitigating these ongoing flooding issues would be impactful to our work trying to preserve this historic property. Every time we have heavy rain, I mean every time, not just the mega floods, the street drainage system backs up and floods the clay studio through the sink. This repeated flooding has caused serious damage to our historic wooden floors and costs us thousands of dollars in staff time and repairs each time that it happens. Perhaps you've noticed the large puddles that accumulate on the corners of our property. This ongoing issue presents accessibility and safety issues with calf-high waters in the warm weather and treacherous ice slicks in the cold. Despite our efforts to solve these and other surface-related complications for our property, our plumbers assure us that these issues stem from the city infrastructure. We've made multiple claims to the city of Laramie to recoup the costs of these annual damages to no avail. This fee will absolutely, while absolutely a financial burden, is an investment in a problem that we need solved to continue our work. And for that reason, our board and staff are prepared to make the necessary financial adjustments to ensure that this problem is solved. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next, I have people who have signed up in the room. First on the list is Mr. Jerry Gruber. Welcome, sir.
My name is Jerry Gruber, Mayor, council members. I don't think the residents are saying that we don't need this particular program. The bottom line is, however, we're going to pay for the darn thing. Even though it was publicized not very well, it feels like it was all done behind closed doors and kind of rammed down our throats a little bit. With a project of this size, $135 million, we all know that it was substantially more than that before it's completed. Costs are going to go up, we know that. So that's the bottom line. Plus the cost of $1.67 per 500 square feet will go up each year. I promise you that for more than 45 years. Because if you do the math, it's going to take at least 45 years without any increases to pay for this particular program. Voters should have the opportunity to vote on it before they are obligated to pay such expenses. The comments I've heard is the city's done a poor job of managing the present system and maintaining the present system, which caused the problem to compound. They're not cleaning out the existing storm sewers. From a 30,000-foot view is that the city has grossly mismanaged this for a number of years. I've been told that since I live in the county, it doesn't affect me. Well, that's not true. I pay Wyoming sales taxes, I pay Albany County taxes, and I pay City of Laramie sales taxes without any representation on the city council. If the City of Laramie sales tax representation, if the cost of doing business in Laramie goes up, the cost is passed along to everyone, including the county residents. Since moving to Laramie, numerous businesses, restaurants, and stores have left the city. The reason? City regulations, unfriendly business environment, bringing in the wrong types of businesses. We don't need more smoke shops. Lack of housing due to overregulation and excessive fees. Many feel it's easier and less hassle and better selection to shop in Cheyenne and Fort Collins than Laramie. For me, one of the main attractions of Laramie was that of a western atmosphere. I don't want to live in Boulder, Fort Collins, Aurora, Denver, or even Cheyenne. I've been there and done that in the past, which is why the city council appears to want Laramie to be more like Boulder, and I certainly don't want that. Stop wasting taxpayer money on questionable moose projects, promoting events that 5% of the community could care less about. You are pandering to the very small minority. Wake up and start listening to the majority of people. I also criticize the residents of Laramie for not being more personally involved and holding its elected officials and career bureaucrats accountable and showing up for meetings like this. This is great to have the number of people here tonight. This should be every city council meeting. I don't think it's unreasonable to have an accounting of income and expenditures for the past 10 years. This problem just didn't happen overnight. It's been going on for a long period of time.
Thank you, Mr. Gruber.
Thank you.
Next, Nancy Mickelson. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm here to say that I believe we need to suspend this project for now and do some further study and maybe get more people now. We see the people here that might participate and be involved and find a better solution for this problem. I have lived on the same block that I grew up in for 78 years, and I just recently sold my house and moved to Sheridan where my grandchildren are, but I still own a small lot on this block, and I never got any paperwork or anything about this until last week. I got a bill in the mail telling me that I would be obligated to pay $45 a month, probably for the rest of my life, because I'm 78 years old, for this project that I knew nothing about. And I have a small lot that we have retained for storage while we moved. We owned most of the block. My family did, Block 52 in West Laramie. My great-grandfather was one of the original Wyoming Central Land people, and he was the mayor of Laramie for 2 terms, so we're pretty proud of that. But this small lot has 30 feet that fronts on Pierce Street. And from the aerial view, the way they looked at this, they said it was all, what do you call it?
Impervious.
Impervious, yes. And so I harassed the people in the office and met them. I drove down from Sheridan today, and 2 of them met me out there. And from their aerial view, they couldn't tell really what it was, and they misjudged it. And I'm wondering if that happened in a lot of cases. And there are a lot of people here. When you sold lots and blocks in West Laramie from the Wyoming Central Land, you were guaranteed for 5 acres of perpetual water right on the Pioneer Canal. I don't know if any of you remember that, but there were only 2 people out there that kept that, and then when one of them died, a street went through. But I think that some of us, a lot of the people out there are older people who are retired, and $45 a month to me for the rest of my life, well, that's pretty steep, I'd say. And so I think we need to find a better way to assess the people, and some of the businesses, we're going to be hurting them because we've talked to some of the people who have larger businesses. They can't afford $700, $800 a month and stay in business. So there's got to be a better way. I'm asking you to please research that and go to the people and find out a better way to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mickelson. Next, Diana Seebeck. Welcome, Ms. Seebeck.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Diana Seebeck. I live in Laramie. I would just say, first of all, that I would urge you to vote no on this resolution and yes on the resolution to rescind. I believe that, well, I had a long conversation with an engineer friend of mine today for over an hour. I learned a lot about drainage that I didn't know before. I learned about water studies that have been done for 45 years plus. I learned about, he has participated in a lot of projects that have been done in Laramie regarding drainage water. So I learned a lot, but I'd like to learn a lot more. And I'm glad for this one of these slides tonight, which was the first time I learned about some of the projects and the priorities. I think that if we started over, we would be able to satisfy the people as to the scope and extent of the problem and how to fund. And if taxing, and of course, do we tax or do we exact this fee. Well, that brings up, of course, what people are concerned about, which is, I think most of us are concerned at heart is for our small business in Laramie. We really, a lot of us homeowners, myself included, don't have a sizable fee. But it's a detriment to our city to put fees on businesses that restrict them and cause prices to rise and cause people to consider leaving. I really think that that's an important thing to consider. I know that the focus group originally proposed a tiered system, and a tiered system would not generate as much money initially, and it would have a go slower effect, but I think it would be much more equitable and manageable for people to handle, so that the fees aren't based on square footage or lease footage. And their appeal process is, have mercy on the people who don't do business online, who don't, they just, have mercy on us that don't, a lot of people are not tuned into their internet. They're not tuned into the city website. I'm fairly competent, but I find our city website to be difficult to find things. So anyway, I just would ask that you would rescind and not just tweak the one we have. It's not to say we don't have a problem. We do have a problem. And I have, we don't want some people to bear the brunt of our issues, our water drainage issues.
Thank you, Ms. Zubek. Arvin? And the last name? Martinez. Arvin Martinez.
Thanks again, Mayor and Council. It's very important that we find another way to do this. In August, I believe it was said August 2022, we did have a major flood. It flooded 3 of my businesses, and I had the cleanup that everybody's talked about tonight. We know we have a problem. I myself am spending more than about $800 if this were to proceed. That's something that I would have to pass on to my customer, and unfortunately, that probably will not last very long. I can't compete with certain businesses that don't have the same cost. A lot's been said about this is happening in Cheyenne and other communities. I own a business in Cheyenne. It's not on my water bill. Now, maybe it's somewhere in there and it's not spelled out in plain English.
Their program opens January.
Okay, so that's another fight that I'm going to have to fight. But there again, I would look to our new council to rescind this. Let's find a better way of doing this. Our city manager brought up some very important points of how under budget we are. No different than the ways that you found to try to do this, you can find new methods to do it. It's very important as a small business owner that, and I mean even a larger business like Wyoming, they'd have to increase tuition. University of Wyoming, same thing. So it's very important to continue business in Laramie, Wyoming, that even the old council members that voted for this take another look at this and let's find a better solution. We do have a problem. We have a lot of angry residents that were misinformed or not informed, but maybe that's their own fault. I blame myself for some of the things that I don't do. But at the end of the day, we need a better solution, and I asked the whole council to look at a better solution. Let's put a pause on this. Let's find a better solution. I think they're out there. Also, Mr. Rinker, who had sold me one of the businesses that I'm involved in, and I don't know if I can ask a question for a different individual, but
no.
Okay, then I'll suspend.
Thank you very much for asking those. Okay.
Thank you for your attention on this matter, And I just ask that the old members and the new members look at this closely and help us business owners and residents figure out a better solution. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, Bruce Adams. Welcome, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. I'm Bruce Adams, and I am a resident. I'm a retired dentist, and I'm sure glad I don't own my property, my professional property, because I wouldn't want to have to pay for the water that comes off my concrete. Anyhow, I have a couple of observations and a couple of questions. As I asked you, Madam Mayor, last week, you said you would have an answer, and I think somebody here gave us an answer. What is the total dollar figure that has gone into studying and proposing this management system so far? Is it 580-some thousand?
No, sir, it's 2+. Since it started in 2017.
All I want is a number. Yeah.
I'm going to get our Director of Finance, who gave that report. If you could please repeat. It was 2.5 million for the period of...
I don't want to speak without the mic. I'm going to let me speak. Since 2007.
Okay.
Yes.
Since 2007 through currently, $2.4 million.
We've put out 2.4, or is that in the bank and has yet to be paid?
No, sir, we have expended that.
Okay, wow.
In the full
and
assessment.
Are we not the poorest community in the state of Wyoming?
Sir, do you have comments?
Okay, that's a question. I said I had a couple of questions and a comment. Okay. Are we not the, and yet we're trying to fund a skate park or a bike park. How deep do the pockets of the citizens have to be to pay for all that we need? And the extraneous, the fun stuff. I mean, I want it all too, but let's get realistic here. A comment here, we need a Doge committee. We need to hire some of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy's people to study the problems that we have. And if we've been studying it for how many years? 2007, and we still don't have a solution, yet we're going in and replacing projects that were done 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I mean, can't we build upon excellence instead of waiting for something to fail? I don't understand it. Also, a recommendation so that the old folk, and I'm old now, I'm 71, and I feel like I should be 17, but there are old people in here. We have a hard time seeing, we have a hard time hearing. And the small script that is up on the TV monitors, it's too small to even read. Let's get a ticker tape thing going across here that everybody can interpret with their eyes. And I would put money out for that. And I think everybody in this room would do so. You know, I would like to see.
Thank you for your comments,
Okay,
Dr.
do we have?
Adams.
I haven't used. Okay, is it?
Your time has expired.
Are we resending?
Your time has expired, sir. Out of respect for the others who want to speak.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Louis Lyon. Welcome, Mr. Lyon.
Honorable Mayor and Council, Lewis Lawn, 2751 Jackson Street. As a homeowner, I'm financially well enough off that I can absorb that $10 or $15 a month for a watershed off my property. However, as the president of a nonprofit, and we actually operate as a nonprofit, so to absorb that $130, $150 a month, we're going to have to raise our rental rates to use our facility, our membership. I think the big thing that you see here, all these people out here are probably here because of what I call sticker shock. You know, $10 or $15. So I think you need to really look at suspending this, reevaluating, maybe set a timeline on reevaluating and come up with a better plan rather than do away with the thing completely, because you've spent a lot of money getting to where we're at now. An example that I had thought about today is if I was in the food service business and one of the food service agencies that on the corner of 3rd and Grand were available, and the property out on where Applebee's used to be was available, and they offered me the same benefits of starting a business, I would have no choice but to take the business downtown where you pay for the parking instead of me. The appeal process. When I looked at that, I was going to appeal our nonprofit until I read it didn't matter whether it was permeable or non-permeable in the guidelines to make an appeal. So I thought, well, I'll come down here and mention it to you tonight. I'm more in favor of you suspending and reevaluating than I am in the repealing. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lyon. Dr. Sally Palmer.
Sally Palmer, 715 South 11th. I've lived here since 1982, and I've been to 3 major controversies, and I'll be brief. One was the dog leash law. Folks came out of the woodwork. The other was the hate crimes law, hate crimes. And this is a third one, water. I want to ask anybody in the room, have they toured the water treatment center that sends us clean water? Or have you lived in Chicago, where my dad and mom lived for years? Or have you ever done a cleanup of Spring Creek? So again, I'm bringing handouts, but I've done all of that. Clean water in Laramie is our treasure, and we take it for granted. I'm not preaching, but it's like, I want my family to keep living here. I want us to have clean water, but there's a cost to it. One of it is not throwing things down the sewer. So when I went to Walmart about a week ago, they had a big drain, and it said, flows to stream. But it was covered with oil and everything. And then when I went to Maverick today, it's like, flows to stream. Who pays attention to our clean water? You do. Thank you. But it is a matter of both keeping our clean water in the aquifer and the water that flows through the Laramie rivers and through the streams, but also in not dumping our garbage down repeatedly, unconscionably. So I applaud what you're trying to do to keep our families safe from toxicity and our future safe. Pure water is sacred. Thank you. Here's my handouts if you want them.
The city clerk can take those.
Sure.
Thank you, Dr. Palmer. Mr. Tim Hale.
Good evening. My name's Tim Hale. I have a little demonstration. I haven't done a test on this, so I don't know that it's going to work quite well. But I'm simulating a supposedly a non-permeable surface, and I've got a couple pieces of sheet metal on here, simulating you know, a camper or a car, and I've got roughly 3 inches of gravel, some pea gravel and some 3/4 inch gravel, kind of what you typically find in somebody's driveway and so forth. The sheet metal takes up approximately almost 50% of the surface area, and this would be like your 100-year storm. And I guess didn't our it just seems like it goes right through. I thought the gravel was supposed to be non-permeable. I wonder if our consultants need to get drug tested or something. But you wonder if one of the solutions would be to have a moratorium on consultants. I would recommend that. The other thing is, I noticed in the presentation, 4 new employees for this stormwater project. Has any of those 4 employees ever pulled the storm grate off and cleaned out the storm sewer? I think that'd be a place where I'd start. And I know my share for 2 lots that have absolutely no asphalt or concrete, $157 a month. And you know, if I'd have known this 50 years ago, that this is the direction our administration was going, I would have found another place to live. I'm sorry to say, I was born here, and I'm regretting it. Thank you for your time, and what this council should do is suspend this project, and the next item on the agenda should be a vote of confidence on our city manager.
Our next person is Brian Dimoff. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and fellow citizens. My name is Brian Dimoff. I am a resident of Laramie, a medically retired combat veteran, and a small business owner. I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. I am here to voice strong opposition to the proposed stormwater utility fee, what is effectively a square footage-based water tax. This plan punishes homeowners and cripples local businesses. Let's be honest about who this affects. The median household income of Laramie is $52,000. That means half our community lives on far less. Yet this tax is not based on income or ability to pay. It's based on how much roof, driveway, or parking lot somebody has. That makes it regressive and punitive by design. As a small business owner, I know how fragile the margins are. I'm actually going out of business right now. And I am friends with many of my peers across Laramie, owners, builders, shopkeepers, and tradesmen. This tax has the potential to gut the very businesses that make Laramie exactly what it is. These are the people who support our community, sponsor events, hire local workers, and keep the local economy alive. Burdening them further could push many past the breaking point. Yes, we do need investment in stormwater infrastructure. No one is arguing that the system is perfect, but if this work must be done, there must be a better way to fund it, one that does not place the burden squarely on the backs of families and small businesses. Let's talk about leadership. The city manager now makes over $216,000 a year. That's more than the governor of Wyoming.
Point of order, sir.
That raise alone could fund a significant portion of the stormwater plan.
Point of order.
Same person lives in a different state.
No personal attacks, please.
There are dozens of 6-figure salaries in this city leadership, while people who live and work here are being asked to pay for everything again. If you are serious about solving this issue, start by looking inward. Cut executive salaries. Reprioritize the budget, seek outside funding, show the people of this town that you're willing to sacrifice first. That second girl who spoke today said that her and her staff are willing to make budget cuts to make that happen. Well, how about the city leadership does that too? We deserve better. Anyone receiving taxpayer-funded salary that exceeds the median income of the city should take an immediate pay cut, not a raise. And anyone who voted for the increase in pay themselves or for their friends needs to be removed from office immediately. There's approximately $5.1 million in city-paid salaries, just counting the people who make over $100,000 a year. I think I'm out of time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, Sarah Brown Matthews.
Mayor, she's coming up from downstairs, so it might take just a minute.
Okay. Is there anyone else not signed up? Yes.
Mayor, you do have a couple hands online as well.
Okay. And then I'll do those and then come, because their hands have been up prior to. Go ahead, if you'll let.
So the first one on the list is Linda Devine.
Sarah, we're bringing one person in from Zoom, and you will be next.
Thank you.
Good evening, Ms. Devine.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I actually am supporting the resolution to suspend the fee collections. Obviously, we have issues. You've heard from a lot of folks in the community. I don't think just completely throwing something away is the right way to go. I just want to express my appreciation to y'all for being open to folks that are having issues with this, and your willingness to suspend fee collecting while you do some additional research. I know there's folks out there that are wanting this to be taxed, and I certainly have a lot of concerns about that, considering all of the folks that will be tax exempt. So I guess just to let you know right now that I do support you to suspend right now, and hopefully we can come up with a resolution. I appreciate also the city manager and staff for their additional paperwork that they've provided. I hope that folks that come in with their minds already made take the opportunity to look at the stuff and listen to the city manager and staff and what they're presenting. They are the experts here. And just one final thing. A lot of y'all just need to get over the fact of her salary and whether or not she lives in Colorado or not, because she's already said she doesn't live there and she lives here. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Devine. Sarah Brown Matthews. Order, please. Good evening, Ms. Matthews.
Thank you, Mayor Cumbie and City Council members. I also am a resident of Laramie, and I live close to Spring Creek. So when it rains, we have a tradition at our house that we walk the half a block to the bridge to take a look at the river and see how high it's flowing. There have been several times in the last few years, I was born and raised here, several times in the last few years that I've watched that river flow and thought, this is going to breach the bank. It's going to cause a problem for my neighbors. I live in a small home that's less than 1,000 square feet, and it's a worry to me as a person who hopes to eventually retire at some point. I do feel like this is a problem we need to address, and I applaud you for your thoughtfulness in listening to the community, in finding a way to put a pause on this and look at options that can address some of the challenges that came up in this legislation. I happen to be one of those weird people that have followed this for a lot of years, and I did get a mailer in the mail, and I knew this was coming along, so I understand that with most pieces of legislation that go before city council or county commission or the state legislature or a federal government, you try something out, you find what works and what doesn't, and you step back and tweak it. I encourage you not to throw the baby out with the stormwater at this point, to please just pause, look at ways that perhaps there can be some caps, that the appeal process can be made easier, that some adjustments can be made perhaps in some city codes, and we have less non-permeable surfaces in future buildings. But I do also encourage you to continue to work on this challenge, and I applaud you for all of the work that you've already done. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. I have a couple people in the queue online, and then Mr. Glass, and then Mr. Henderson.
And Mayor, we do have 2 more signed up on another.
From the other room?
Yeah, from this room after the other one filled, and I gave that to you on the break. So we, just to let you, I've got it here in my hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can pass that up there. But we do have Perry online.
Thank you.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Perry Scores. I'm a resident in Ward 2. I support repealing as my first priority, but the suspension as a second option for the surface water drainage program tonight. I sent an email to council detailing many more of my reasons behind that, including the fact that the impervious area definition is too broad, as another community member just so lovely demonstrated with the science experiment. That said, I don't want to rehash all those reasons here right now. I wanted to ask a question about the presentation that was given earlier tonight. You had 2 lovely slides that showed the distribution of the monthly fee load, first for residential properties and then for non-residential properties. However, the slide for non-residential properties at one point said non-residential parcels, but on a separate area said non-residential landowners, and I believe it was verbally stated that non-residential landowners was anything owned by an LLC or a company. I'd like to point out that many individual rental properties are owned through LLCs, even though they might just have individual owners. And so if those were included in that slide, it might be skewing the data towards the lower end of the spectrum and underestimating the impact on the business owners. So I was wondering if I could end with a question. Could somebody clarify whether that data truly included only non-residential properties, or if it included anything that might be owned through an LLC, a trust, things of that nature? Thank you.
I'd like to have that answered if it's possible.
Thank you, Director Webb.
Yeah, Mayor, Council, the residential designation is based on the county assessor's parcel data. So they actually list in there, it's residential, it's commercial, it's industrial, it's whatever. The residential is out of the parcel data.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone in the queue online?
Mayor, that's all the hands that are raised.
Thank you.
Online.
Thank you. Then if Deidre O'Dwyer and Tammy Hooper, who are downstairs, can come up, I will next, excuse me.
She's up too.
Okay, so Deidre O'Dwyer. Good evening.
Hi, thanks for the opportunity. I realize this is a very hard issue, and I think we recognize that we need to do something about this. And my comment tonight is I support suspension, but not dismissing this issue completely. I believe that the formulas for calculating the fees, somebody from the city explained to me they tried to be as equitable as possible. I actually don't think how it is calculated actually is equitable, because it doesn't include certain considerations. For example, this is very specific to my business. As a homeowner, I'm fine with paying that fee. As a business owner, every additional expense that's provided on my business impacts my ability to be competitive. If my competitors do not have the same burden that I do, then all of a sudden they have an advantage. So I provide parking at my business. My competitors don't necessarily do that. The parking is provided, if they're downtown, by the city. So my city taxes will pay for their parking, and so they don't incur that same burden. My neighbors in my business area utilize my parking. Those businesses are direct competitors, yet they don't have the burden of this expense on them. So food trucks, are they being assessed any type of penalty or any type of fee? Sorry. So I'm just saying maybe we take a step back, and especially with commercial assessments, and evaluate how different businesses competitively are being burdened, and make that a consideration. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Tammy Hooper.
Good evening. My name is Tammy Hooper, and I live in Laramie. I have a question and then a couple of comments. Does the city, when someone decides to develop an area, say for housing, does the city require that the developer put in a detention pond? I don't know. I'm asking.
It would depend on the property.
Well, the reason I'm asking is, if you have a multi-house development and you're requiring a developer to put in a detention pond, that cost that developer has to incur for the engineering, the dirt work, and anything else that the city's going to require for that is going to be passed off in a lot price. And so the homeowner is already paying for the surface water to be captured in a detention pond. So then essentially you're double, I hate to say taxing, you're double feeing them. That's my comment. And so I do appreciate the fact that because of the two resolutions that you have here in front of you this evening that you will consider, you have listened to the constituency and you want to do something about it. And I would encourage you to completely chuck it, because that will put you under pressure to come up with something new. If you suspend it, it's easier to just go back and say, oh, well, we already have this in place, so let's just do it, and then we'll try to refigure it out. If you have to start all over, it's going to compel you, I feel, I hope, that you would have to come up with something more feasible that would be in line with whatever, a tiered structure or less burdensome or anything. And again, the costs that are going to be generated by this they're going to be passed on to all of us. So the businesses, we've heard from business owners, those will be passed on to us as consumers. And we all talk about the affordability problem of housing in Laramie, and I know several landlords. I was one of them. I'm glad I sold my rental property before this all happened. They're going to pass those costs on to their tenants. And, again, it's just like the fee when they had landlords register and they pass that on. Whether it's fair or not, it'll happen, though. So I guess it's just incumbent that I would ask you and encourage you to think about that. And if you've already charged a developer for a detention pond, you're double charging people then that have bought those lots, whether it's the contractor that developed it as a spec home or he built them, or the homeowner. They've already paid for that. And again, somebody mentioned cleaning out the sewer drains. I walk in the mornings and there's sewer drains that have detritus. So whether it's weeds, it's trash or whatever, those are completely covered. I know we have a problem. I don't think nobody wants to drink dirty water. We don't want our kids to drink dirty water. Nobody wants toxicity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hooper. Mr. Glass.
Good evening, Mayor Cumbie and members of council. I've looked over the resolution that you're considering this item, and, well, my feeling is that there are some serious flaws in it. It starts out by saying that the public is confused about the stormwater drainage fee, and we've heard some very intelligent comments tonight. I don't think the public is really confused. I think they really are informed. There's some brilliant observations that I've heard this evening. So I'm a little concerned about that. I'm concerned about the fact that it says that the ordinance would be suspended only to reconsider certain things, specifically things like exemptions and such. And I think there's a lot more about the ordinance that needs to be reconsidered that is not covered in this resolution. And the third thing is the date that it concludes. It's a 120-day suspension, and so it would conclude right about Christmas time, when many members of the public aren't here, and it's and there may be more to consider by that time, and a lot of people won't be around to comment on it. So I'm concerned about that as well. Nonetheless, I think that what we should do is pass it anyway. And the reason why is that it would pave the way for, after that, considering the next item and repealing and replacing the ordinance. I think that's necessary. We violated the law here. We haven't had an election the way it's required by law. We've put it on the utility bills instead of doing it through the taxing authority, which is also required by law. There's a lot to revise. And by going ahead and repealing and replacing, sort of an amendment by substitution, we'd be doing much more than just piecemeal picking little pieces out of it. And so I recommend that you pass this, but then go on to the next item and seriously consider it. The other thing that's good about this is that it takes 3 readings to do the repeal. This would at least stop the billing immediately while the 3 readings take place. So anyway, thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr.
And thank you for your patience with all of this.
Thank you. Mr. Henderson.
Good evening, Council. I appreciate the time to speak. My first concern is procedural. December 3rd, it's unquestionable that the City of Laramie City Council had the occasion, the right, and the purview to adopt a utility fee. However, procedurally, I'm very concerned that one councilor's questions regarding the basis for whether Council of 9 or voters of the entire city of Laramie are faced with this question of how we will fund this fee. The state statute reads about the allowance for the creation of a utility. However, my rights are specifically delineated, and the citizens' rights of Laramie as voters are specifically delineated in 1610-105 Section E, which stipulates that the electorate will decide on matters proposed to them on voting. It is a limiting factor on the justification that, you can use whatever you have all the reason and all the right to create the fund, but procedurally, you should have tabled the December 3rd action and waited until city attorney could give the basis that answered an important question that was on the floor but was bypassed on that time. My rights, the citizens' rights of Laramie at that time were not considered important enough. And drainage is absolutely important. Streets, parking, so many issues go swept under the rug and bypassed and pushed and kicked down the can. It's not a matter of courage to serve on council alone. It's a matter of respecting the law. And the law in conflict should always benefit the citizenry. It should always benefit us, the people. Now, my second point is I ask that the city planning department and the city planning commission and the city council cease and desist over overbuilding, permitting the overbuilding of city infill lots immediately. It is an absolute point of negligence to permit continued building and development of areas knowing that we've been underfunded for decades in the area of surface water drainage. And in that respect, 260 North Pine in 2021, neighborhood West Laramie bound together, and only because 75% of the public immediately adjacent affected by that area bound together required a higher level of due process within the council to vote. It needed 2/3 or it would have went through to allow 83, the density of 83 to be allowed on this 260 North Pine property. We go at the detriment of city staff, experts recommending development in order to respond to affordable housing. I want affordable housing. I don't want that. But I also don't want my neighbors who are retirees and they have no cost of living increase to pay the jeopardy that comes with negligent decisions. And I ask that we stop that kind of development, which adds to the drainage problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, we do have...
I have a gentleman here. What were you saying?
Just when you're ready, there is another gentleman online.
Okay, I have a gentleman who's had his hand up several times. Okay. I can't see. Okay.
My name is Brandon Comenti, citizen here in Laramie and business owner, council and mayor. I am a business owner. I do own multiple pieces of property, both in the city and in the county, residential, commercial, and industrial. I can tell you that the retention pond thing is definitely something that I was going to bring up, not even on the residential side, but also the commercial side. I know what the codes are. I'm in the building industry, so you have to go in. Everything's got to be approved. It's got to go through the code. It's got to go through the department. If you guys are requiring that we put in stuff in the parking lots for green areas, if we're being required to put in those retention ponds, you can't require us to pay this fee also. The other side of that is, I'll be 100% honest, I will be expanding my business and I am highly considering moving into the county. That's funds that are not going to go into the city because of all the regulations. This is not the only one, but there's multiple. I do work with everybody moving in from out of state, deal with all those people as well, and they have the same considerations of, I'll just buy in the county, I'll build in the county. I don't want to be involved with the city because it's too cumbersome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Can we not do the clapping? Yes, ma'am. You were next. Then we have two online.
Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Tracy Malone. I have been listening to everybody. I am a homeowner in West Laramie for 30 years, okay? I have seen us try to get our roads paved. I have seen us try to get improvement. And there has been pushback by this community, not city council, this community. I've had people tell me West Laramie is the stepchild of the city of Laramie. We don't get anything from our city council. As a homeowner, and I saw those slides, the majority of this original funding that our city workers put together is going to improve West Laramie. Okay? I've had people here talk about the drainage and how they've seen in those storm drains all the trees and branches and stuff being clogged. I would love to have that, because I don't even have that, okay? Because because we don't even have storm drains out there. And like I said, according to the slide, I want to say it was 2.7 million will be going to improve West Laramie. Okay? I applaud that. I understand the business's concerns. I understand that kind of thing. But the problem I see with suspension and repeal is, again, kind of like with the Clark Street overpass that became Harney Street, if we keep waiting and putting it off and thinking about it. My daughter is 23 years old. We started thinking about the Harney Street Bridge before she was born, and it took over 19 years to get it. So again, I applaud this. I don't think it should be repealed. I don't think it should be suspended. Do I think it needs to be tweaked? Yes. But we got to start somewhere. A gentleman talked about the cost. We spent 4 point something since 2017. If we spend it and do more research, that's more money going to, that could be going to the improvements, okay? That's where I'm at with this. Like I said, it's heartbreaking to look at this. I would love West Laramie to have businesses to come in there. The drainage is going to be an issue.
Thank you. Councilor Newman?
City Clerk, will you remind me the time constraint of if we want to get to the next item on the agenda, what we should be doing?
Mayor, through you.
Yes, please.
We're allowed to continue until 9:30. At that time, no new items can be introduced to the agenda, only the non-agenda related public comment at the end. And it would take a vote of the council to extend past 9:30 to 10 o'clock, if that makes sense. So that would take a 2/3 vote of the city council.
Vice Mayor?
So sorry, one more time, we need to bring in that final item before 9:30.
9:30.
Okay.
8 minutes.
I would call for the vote on this resolution.
Call the question.
Call the question, sorry.
Call the question just stops public comment.
So call the question, stops public comment and council debate. We vote, we need a 2/3 vote to call the question. So, City Clerk? Call.
There hasn't been a motion or a second.
So.
No, just a clarification of it. So if we were to call the question, there's no council discussion either. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah.
It goes to a vote.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion on the resolution. In section 6, it states to direct staff to present for council consideration detail for properties charged fees that fall within the top 20% of the residential and commercial fee structures. I'd like to see that say, I moved to amend section 6 to read to direct staff to present to council different options for fees for all residential and commercial properties.
Second.
So can you repeat your motion again?
In section 6, it states to direct staff to present for council consideration detail for properties charged fees that fall within the top 20% of the residential and commercial fee structures. I'd like it to read, I move to amend section 6 to read to direct staff to present to council different options for fees for all residential and commercial properties.
So I have a motion by Lockhart, a second by Newman. So now do any other counselors have questions on that? Does the public have any comment on that? No.
I have a question on that. Sorry. Nancy.
Who?
Mayor, we still
Yes.
had a hand raised online. I don't know if Gerald Peterson would like to present comment on the amendment.
All right. We've got, yeah. Well, we can't bring anything else up.
He's coming in right now.
Let's, if we can continue with the amendment.
This has to be on the amendment.
This comment, Mr. Peterson, is your comment on the amendment?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Is your comment on the amendment?
No, but I've been on hold for an hour and a half. I've had a hand raised, and I'm not going to wait.
We have a procedure, sir. We have a procedure on the. We have a procedure on the floor.
Stop right now.
Okay,
No,
thank
I'm
you.
gonna stop right now.
Thank you.
Nancy, you.
Sir, all right. So, Counselor, are there any final comments? No. City Clerk, if you can call the vote.
Bowling.
This is on the amendment?
On the amendment only.
Yes.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty, absent Shumway.
Yes.
Behill. Yes. Richardson.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes. Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That amendment motion passes. Now, we have called the question.
Nobody did. Nobody did.
Oh.
If we don't have any more comments, it can go straight to vote.
All right.
It would be great if we had time for comments, but we don't, and we need to make sure that the next agenda item gets on there. So I would like to motion to call the question.
Second.
We have a motion by Bowling, second by Newman to call the question. City Clerk, can you please call the roll? It takes a 2/3 vote.
Bowling.
Yes.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty, absent Shumway.
Yes.
Behill.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
That motion passes. Is there any further comment before we vote? No, we can't. That's right. Please call the roll on the resolution as amended.
Bowling.
Aye.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty, absent Shumway.
Yes.
Behill.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
That motion passes.
I would move to extend to 10 o'clock.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Richardson, second from Vigil, to extend the meeting till 10 o'clock. Can we, City Clerk, if you can call the roll on that, please.
Bowling.
Yes.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty, absent Shumway.
Yes.
Behill.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
That motion passes, and the meeting will now be extended till 10 to allow for the next motion to be entered. Councilor Newman.
I move to approve original ordinance number 2109 on first reading, repealing Laramie Municipal Code, Chapter 13.80 as enacted by enrolled ordinance number 1859.
Second.
I was waiting. Counselor, I have a motion by Newman, a second by Lockhart. So, there, huh? I don't think, do you?
Mayor, the presentation that we provided for the resolution is the same as we would for this item, so.
Yes, Counselor Newman.
I don't have questions, I have comments. I don't know if you want to take those right now.
I will take comments or questions at this point to facilitate the process.
This is first reading, so I really think it should pass, and here's why. We've heard a lot that this should be a tax. We've heard it should be a fee. We've heard that we need to work on our pay structure. We need to do this, we need to do that. If we fail this right now, but without like major changes, we can't bring it back. So we need this in our back pocket. I also have amendments that I can't do now because we don't have the time. So personally, I urge that you guys pass this on first reading. That way we can bring amendments back and really show that the community that we are listening, right? If it passes, if it fails on second reading, so be it. But I would like to bring my motions, and I don't have time to do that. And so I really think that, I also don't think that like all the work that has been planned needs to be stopped. We can do resolutions and use general fund money and move it around. So I really think that we should pass this on first reading. Let's get it to second reading, make some amendments, and maybe postpone it out until the other resolution expires. That way we have time to work on it. If the city's residents still aren't happy, then we have this in our back pocket. And that's what I'll say because we don't have a lot of time.
Counselor Newman, just to clarify, are you suggesting a postponement to another date? You're suggesting the vote?
I want
Okay.
first reading to pass today.
Okay.
We'll make more.
Thank you very much. Further comments? Counselor Lockhart.
Thank you, Mayor. And since we had no discussion between us, I think it's a lot of similarities here. I'm all for both. We need to suspend the fee. We need to make a lot of modifications, but we also need to decide, like what was brought up earlier, is it our nine people's decisions to make, or is it the community's to make? We need to have public outreach. We need to make a vote. So
please, order, please.
So I'm a business owner, so I'm standing with businesses on this, and it's one of the reasons I ran for council. You know, my bill at the business now is only $45 a month, but to me, that's 4 hours that an employee can work for me. You know, most of us businesses, including me, are fighting cost of good increases. You know, my July this year was about the same as last year. My cost of goods were up $10,000 in a month, and nothing changed. So, and then you add more bills on top of there. You know, I got no say in this, and I'm building a new business in West Laramie, and that is going to be over twice as big as this lot. So then I'm looking probably at $150 a month. So we need to take our time on this and not rush to judgment on this proposal here, this motion. So I'm going to vote yes.
Thank you. Further comments? Councilor Shumway.
Thank you, Mayor. I also will vote in favor of repeal. I don't believe that if we suspend only and go 120 days, it's just going to come right back to where there's going to be a vote to whether to continue or to fix it. I think this needs to be fixed, and I think we need to have a fresh start, and so I'm going to vote for repeal with the hope that this council will give us a fresh start with a new proposal for the community.
Thank you. Councilor Bowling.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, other councilors and members of the public. It's encouraging to see so much participation, and I will try and keep this comment geared towards item 22. What we've just done is kept all the options on the table. Also passing Councilor Newman's motion on first reading continues to keep all those options on the table. We've paused fees immediately and issued credits, and we will not back charge people over the course of that period of time, and that's important for people to know. Keeping all of the options on the table is the important thing for me, and why I wrote the resolution and brought it, so that there was something in addition to outright rescinding. That's not the word I'm looking for. Repeal. My brain is a little fried. I did that because I am not personally yet supportive, I will say yet supportive of a motion to repeal. However, we have 26 minutes left in this meeting, including a lot of people that want to and need to speak. And I know Councilor Newman has other amendments and motions that he would like to bring, and I believe that my fellow councilor has a right to do that. And in that light, I'm inclined to pass first reading and allow this process to continue. I fear that that sows confusion for our city staff, and I apologize if it does, in what direction we are asking them to move, because every issue that was brought up this evening, whether it's an improperly assessed fee, impervious area, or retention ponds, or unfortunate double charge, all of those deserve to be looked at closely inside of the suspension period. So I'll conclude my comment. Thank you.
Further comments? Councilor Freed.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try to keep this brief, but I do want to say thanks to the city staff for presenting, the public for being here, and for the last few weeks where we've really talked about this topic at length. I know all of us council members sitting up here have received phone calls, texts, emails, the public participation. It's great, and I think we welcome that because we hear your voice. That's why there's these two amendments or these two ordinances on here. I will say I'm not convinced that repealing what's been done for so long is the solution here. Obviously, we voted to suspend this. That seems like the right thing to do to fix these things. We have 120 days. I think that we're motivated. We're motivated by you and the public that's bringing us issues that we can actually address and fix and come about solutions, hopefully. But because this has been such a short time and we didn't get to speak about the last topic as much as I think we would have wanted, and the public has a right to speak on this topic, I will vote to move it past the first reading and not vote no on it, and look for the amendments the next time it's presented. But I'm more in favor of suspending and putting ourselves to work and figuring this out in 120 days. But due to the nature of this meeting, I will vote yes to hear it one more time and see what Councilor Newman has. Thank you.
Further comments? Councilor Vigil.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm in agreement with Councilor Freed. I think as new councilors, a lot of us, this is the first time that we've really experienced such public frustration as councilors. And so I want to be respectful of that. And I want to give opportunity for more discussion, because I am really encouraged that people, are here at almost 10 o'clock at night and you haven't gotten up from your seats. And so we'd like to see more of that engagement. But I'm in agreement that right now, I've gone back and forth on this throughout the weekend. I've had phone calls through the weekend, and some folks have brought up some good points, but right now I am not in favor of full repeal. I think our city has spent a lot of time and a lot of our taxpayer dollars on coming up with solutions for stormwater for stormwater drainage. And so I don't want to completely scrap that and start anew. I agree actually with the woman from West Laramie. I am also in West Laramie. We've been having conversations about stormwater drainage for a very long time before I was born, frankly. And so with respect to that, I do want to also be respectful of Councilor Newman and the ordinance that he worked on. I want to hear what his motions are, and so I'll be voting to pass this first reading. But I am not committed to full repeal at this time.
Any further comment? Councilor Shumway.
Thank you, Your Honor. I am pleased that it looks like that this is going to move to another discussion. I have some solutions. I think I have some solutions that potentially could save our citizens over $100 million. So I'm looking forward to having that conversation in the next time that we bring this up.
Thank you. Further comments? Vice Mayor?
Yeah. Firstly, I know other counselors have said this too, but just thank you all for being here, and I hope you continue to show up even in like the really boring stuff. Maybe we'll hand out cookies or something. And I also want to acknowledge that we didn't roll this out as well as we could have, right? We need to make improvements, and I think all of us acknowledge that with our passage of suspension, to really look at the things that you all have identified. I think, those are really important pieces. I also, we've heard repeal and we've heard suspend, and I feel like suspension is the way to go. I recognize that it gives us the time to work on it, and having the suspension, in my mind, makes us work on that. I worry the other direction, that if we continue to put repeal on the, move it forward this first reading, then it makes it pretty difficult to think about what we're going to do if suspension or if repeal is still in our back pocket, right? Like, I want to make the changes. I want to do the work. And I want to do it during that time. I want it time limited. If we need more time, then we take it. But let's use that time to fix the problems. And I would really have loved to have those amendments that Councilor Newman has tonight, to hear those, because it's really hard for me to move forward with the repeal not knowing what that looks like. And so I will not vote for the repeal. I will only vote for the suspension, and I will work my tail off to take what you all have said and do some hard work to think about what we need to do, think about how it impacts businesses, think about how it impacts building, and just thank you all for bringing that information forward to us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I would like to make my own comment. And this council has really shown a lot of fortitude in listening to the public and trying to identify some of the issues that have emerged with the implementation of the plan. I believe we have the capacity to work and to work hard on that, so that we don't have to stop everything. And I am concerned about, if we're working through a repeal, it's like we're sending two different messages. And I think it seems almost untenable for staff to work with. And I believe that we could make amendment to the resolution in the future to cover these things that we've heard, and to be methodical about that, and to look at these issues and to present possible solutions. And if that is not satisfactory, we can do repeal at any time. So I will not vote for that, because I want us to do the work. We've got a time limited, that's a tight time, 120 days. We're providing relief for the community while we try to right some of those outliers that is just unbelievable. It's jaw-dropping how some of those charges came out. And I want to take the time and the time to analyze it and look at it and make informed decisions that are based on fact and exploring what has happened at these edges to create inequity when our intention was equity. And so I would like the 120 days to do it, and I'm very concerned about the disruption that a repeal would cause. And if at any time a counselor felt like it wasn't moving forward, it wasn't productive, a repeal can be entered at any time. But I think tonight it becomes extremely confusing to have a repeal and a pause at the same time. So right now, we have 16 minutes left. Is there anyone who would like to offer something new in public comment, who has not spoken?
Can I make a comment? I'm going to call the question at 9:55, so everybody knows, because I want the vote today.
All right.
Mayor, Honorable Mayor and council members, again, Mike Cisneros. I just want to make sure that, as you guys move forward, that we look at, budget constraints for everything. As a business owner, I have budget constraints. 2008, when the economy dropped, we didn't buy any new vehicles, we didn't buy any new tools for a course of over 10 years. That's because we had to just be able to get by and keep the doors open. Every single one of these people that have individual houses, they have a budget. The economy continues to go up. They're not getting the raises that are in line with how the economy goes. And so I think the city really needs to take a look at where your guys' budget is. We'd love to have a bunch of these things that you guys bring to the table. Any community would. But the reality is we don't have the financial ability to move forward with a lot of these projects that are nice but are unnecessary, and some of those funds can go to help offset the charges that you guys are wanting to bring to the sewer drainage issues. And we need to do something. The public needs to be able to be part of that, but the city needs to be part of that as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cisneros. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Bob Corliss. I'm kind of a simple person, and I just feel like there's an elephant in the room with the finance. If I can do math, if I'm understanding it right, the whole project, 35 million. Our annual revenue that'll be brought in, 3.5 million. And maybe I'm wrong on a little bit of that. That's 38, 40 years. That's a long ways out to get this project done. So I'm concerned about how that really will play out. There's a lot of rumor and talk that possibly some of the major players, such as the University of Wyoming, I asked this last week, will they be paying this fee? And you all said yes. But I'm hearing that they're going to contest this. The same with Wyotech. Those are the major players. They're the big dollars. What's that going to do to the rest of us? And if I understand fees and taxes that get passed, they never go away. They never go down. They always increase. So if I'm paying X amount now, what am I going to be paying tomorrow, 5 years, 40 years out? Just on the financial end, it's a major elephant that you guys are having to deal with. Problem, yes, but we need to figure out a better way. And maintenance, et cetera, increasing that could be a very positive step forward in keeping these drains clear type thing. But anyways, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sarah.
Mayor, just to let you know, you have 2 hands online.
Excuse me?
Mayor, you have 2 hands up online too, just so you're aware.
Okay.
Mayor, I'll keep it brief. I feel like the repeal is too soon. I do think it's a card that you should keep in your back pocket. I agree with that, but I don't think it should be tonight. I agree that our county is unique in Wyoming in that most of our largest businesses are nonprofits, the university, the hospital, the school district, et cetera. And I do feel like a fee is the right way to go. I think a tax would be regressive. So I suggest that you have done good work tonight and that you keep the repeal as an option for the future. Consider whatever amendments as part of your work going forward. Consider what Councillor Shumway has in terms of cost savings, but I just feel like it's again throwing the baby out. Thank you.
Thank you. We have two people ahead online. If you could bring them in. Okay. Mr. Peterson, if you can please turn on your camera. Mr. Peterson?
Are you there?
Yes. Can you turn on your camera, please?
I've been trying, but I don't know how exactly. So here's the problem. Earlier I got cut off. This is totally ridiculous. Try to get on here. So I got a question for the city manager. Is the city manager there?
For comment, sir.
Is the city manager there?
Comments have to be addressed.
Are you there?
Comments have to be addressed.
Comments
Have to be addressed to council.
Comments must be addressed to council.
All right, so whatever. I guess we'll go through this. We'll go through the rigmarole. But so the city manager said that it's gonna have to be paid for with either a property tax or a fee. So does the city manager have the ability to present a property tax on everybody in Albany County? That's my question.
Thank you, sir. We're not able to really answer that question right now.
Well, we should be able to answer it because we're having a freaking meeting tonight. I've been cut off, and you guys sit up there.
Excuse me,
on
Mr.
your high
Peterson.
horse, and you can't even pronounce a name of anybody. So can the city manager present property taxes on the people of Albany County? I want to know that.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Peterson. Property taxes are set through the state, and they decide what the percentage will be on each home. That was decided at the legislature this last time. Then the county receives that money and distributes that money to the city. The city then works to distribute that money in a way that benefits the city. I don't know if that answers
But the city has no authority to say that they're going to threaten to raise property taxes.
It's point of order.
And that's what they did.
We need to be addressing the...
No, I'm not going to stop right now. I've been cut off for like an hour and a half.
First Amendment. Read it.
Is there another person?
Mayor, we have Linda Devine online. Linda Devine.
Okay. Ms. Devine, please continue.
Mayor, thank you again. I would urge council to vote no on this resolution. I do think it's going to be sending mixed messages out to people. The resolution to suspend it for 120 days, I think, gives ample opportunity for you to continue looking at different things to fix this. My understanding is you've said that you can bring amendments to that. I appreciate Councilor Newman bringing this, but I do believe that repealing it is also going to be putting the city staff a problem here because they're gonna not want to start moving forward in case it's going to be repealed. And I think you're just going to be hamstringing them. And I would also remind council that just because everybody doesn't show up at these meetings does not mean that they're in favor or not in favor. And I keep hearing different council members saying the community's told us this, the community doesn't like it. Tonight, at least, you've had differing views on that. And so I don't think a city council meeting is indicative of the entire city of Laramie. You might have 1% of the population there, and I appreciate that they're there, but that does not mean that they speak for the entire city of Laramie. And so I would urge you to vote no on this resolution. Again, I appreciate the work that you've done, and I appreciate you listening to us all, and hope that you'll be able to get this resolved. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you keep it very brief? We've got 5 minutes. And we've got to vote.
I call the question.
Call the question.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion to call the question, second by Lockhart. City Clerk?
On the call to question.
On call the question, requires a 2/3 vote.
Yes.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty, absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Behill.
Yes.
Richardson.
No.
Cumby.
Yes,
That's 7 yeses, 1 no, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
that motion passes. Then we're to the vote. So, City Clerk, if you can call the roll for the item 22, the original ordinance.
Bowling.
Aye.
Freed.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty, absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Behill.
Yes.
Richardson.
No.
Cumby.
No.
That's 6 yeses, 2 noes, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
City Clerk, is it possible for me to change my first vote? I was thinking we were voting on the thing and not on the calling the question. I just want to show it in the record that I am happy to, that the calling, I was in favor of calling the question, and I was thinking we were on the vote. So I just want to.
So the mayor hadn't announced the vote yet, so I'm okay with that if the mayor.
That will be fine. Thank you. And thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you.
I was a
Sorry, I
little
just lost
confused
track of
by
where
your
we were.
response.
To clarify, that's 7 yeses and 1 no and 1 absent.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
So
with
that motion passes.
So Mayor, we go to.
So we have 3 minutes. Is there any public comment on non-agenda items? Items not on the agenda? Yes, sir. Order, please. The meeting is not over yet.
My name is Brandon Comenti. Appreciate you letting me come back up. One more thing is I do own a piece of property that does not have any city bills. It doesn't have a city tap or anything. How are those pieces of property going to be assessed? I don't get a city bill. So, gotta consider
Sorry,
that
I can't hear you for all the talking in here. Please.
I said I own property in the city limits that does not have a water tap, does not have sewer, does not have a garbage, so I do not have a city bill there. On pieces of property like that within the city, how would that be assessed?
Those are being assessed for impervious area.
Right, but I don't receive a bill. I don't currently receive.
You will.
A bill.
You
So
will.
that would be added? Okay.
Thank you.
Good question.
Yes. Please, if you want to talk, not in here, respect the people that want to speak publicly. Yes, thank you.
Brian Dimoff again, ma'am. I just have one final comment. I would like to inform this entire council, myself, my father, both of my grandfathers and my great-grandfather bled for this country to include the First Amendment. You need to stop interrupting people. You need to let people speak. You don't get to give people time limits. That is not under the authority of anyone but God himself in this country. Thank you.
We are following council rules of procedure. Yes, sir.
Make the rules.
Yes, sir.
No,
1 minute.
You're not God.
Point of order.
Point of order. It's 10 o'clock. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, you have to adjourn.
Yes. All in favor of adjourning, say aye. Opposed? This meeting is adjourned.